to find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. That's 800-536-4800. Call now.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks? Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
And now, try Babbel free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A flood risk extended. Lisa Brady, Fox News. What's left of Tropical Storm Hillary is headed north, dumping heavy rain on parts of Oregon and Idaho and Northern California after flooding parts of Southern California, the first tropical storm in that region in 84 years.
The mountains, though, have been hit particularly hard. That's extremely concerning when it comes to mudslides. Of course, we don't have a lot of rain here in Southern California, so you have houses that are built into the sides of those mountains for the amazing view.
Oh, can you see me yet? Hi, can you hear me? Hi, hey, hi. So if you thought it was hot outside, get ready for the Annie Frey Show because you're about to get the heat.
Such a dork.
Cut that, Anna, if you could use that for something else. It was really good. Get ready because I'm going to give you the poll in just a second, but I want to start with this. Bill Hemmer is on TV. Actually, I just looked up and he was not on it anymore, but he was just on it right before noon. Bill Hemmer is probably walking off the set right now and getting super nervous about calling into the Annie Frey Show because he is on the show at 12:25, so stick around for that.
We're talking about the GOP debate.
Yep, big debate coming up this Wednesday. If you haven't heard, come see us at Dave & Buster's for it.
Is there still room?
As of today, yes, but that is rapidly changing. So if you're going to go,
explain it.
I would sign up now. So the debate watch party is at Dave & Buster's on Wednesday night. Doors open at 7. We'll be there. Yeah, we'll all be there. Debate starts at 8. It's completely free at Dave & Buster's. We'll all be hanging out. But you do have to sign up at 971talk.com, and it's close to capacity. So I would do that today because I don't know if tomorrow we'll be able to say go sign up anymore.
Yeah. Get in there.
Get in there. We know from the Heritage event that we are, when we say that, we're not just like blowing smoke to get you to go do it. It actually is very close. So do that today if you plan on visiting us and hanging out with us on Wednesday night at Dave & Buster's. Once again, Bill Hemmer on the show at 12:25. Then, and they're talking about the GOP debate that we'll be watching together. Then Wiggins America, we're doing the Monday Roundup. Everything that you need to know that you missed this weekend, I will deliver it to you in a succinct and professional fashion. 1:25.
Just like this version of the pre-show.
I'm doing a good job, I have to admit.
Sidetrack.
Keep going.
1:25. Another bringing the heat guest here, Andrew Bailey, Attorney General for Missouri. The topic is not going to be a light one. It is going to be him talking about this law that Missouri has passed banning puberty blockers for minors. So stick around for that. I'm looking forward to hearing that too. Steve Moore, who's normally at 1:05, he's going to be a little bit later in the show, 1:40-ish. Steve Moore, Distinguished Fellow in Economics at Heritage. You probably know him very well at this point. Going to talk about the economy and all things Bidenomics. And then the aforementioned YouTube live chat poll is, do you support the loyalty pledge requirement to debate? Yes or no? Trump is, of course, not going to be a part of this debate, he has declared, and that may be part of the reason. We want to know what you think about that question. Do you support the loyalty pledge requirement to be at these debates? Thumbs up, give us a like, and we will see you in just a couple minutes.
Smash that subscribe button.
Yeah.
Or just click it.
You can just click it too.
Do it hard though, so we can feel it.
1 in 5 Americans suffer from allergies caused by particles frequently found in the air inside most homes. So if you have someone in your family that has allergies or asthma, or if you just want a cleaner home, Zerorez can help you with the air duct and dryer vent cleaning services. It's a 12-step professional source removal process. It guarantees your home will be clean to the highest standards, and right now it's $100 off. You know, I've talked about the dryer vents quite a bit. Dryer vents are one of the leading causes of home fires in the U.S., so you want to make sure that you clean that out at least every 1 to 2 years. And this is a great time to take advantage with an awesome offer from Zerorez. 314-474-2020. Online at ZerorezSTL.com. $100 off the air duct cleaning right now. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same.
Hello, everybody. I'm John Rooney. Do you have an old car that's taking up room in the driveway? Repairs are costly and selling is a hassle? That's why you should donate it to Goodwill. Donating is quick and towing is free. Plus, you get a tax receipt and 4 tickets to a Cardinals game, compliments of the St. Louis Cardinals. That's a win-win. For more information or to donate, visit online at mersgoodwill.org. Must mention Cardinals.
O'Reilly Auto Parts proudly introduces new Brake Best Select Pro brake pads and rotors. For superior stopping power and professional-grade performance, choose Brake Best Select Pro. Available only from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Together Credit Union is the official banking partner of St. Louis City SC, which means Together Credit Union is the only place to find the official City SC debit card, which comes with special perks. There's no cost for the City SC debit card, so don't wait and sign up today online at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Attention business owners, this is John Souza, CEO of ERTC.com. The Employee Retention Tax Credit Program provides up to $26,000 per W-2 employee. If you're confused about the program, stop right now before it's too late. Don't fall for false promises and risk your business. All ERTC companies are not the same. The bottom line, there's no such thing as guaranteed eligibility, and being innovative with tax filings can lead to an audit. At ERTC.com, we won't mislead you to attest to your own eligibility. At ERTC.com, everything is done in-house by expert CPAs, and there's no cost to get started. With the ERTC.com Fast Track Refund Program, you may qualify to get your refund in as soon as 48 hours. Get started today at ERTC.com.
Get your free refund information now. 800-200-6640. 800-200-6640. That's 800-200-6640.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I'm going to support the nominee of the party. I do not expect it to be Donald Trump, and that I'm sure question will come up in the debate to say tune for that. But what I want to point out is I'm not even sure he's qualified to be the next president of the United States. And so you can't be asking us to support somebody that's not perhaps even qualified under our Constitution.
There's Asa Hutchinson talking about supporting the nominee, whomever it might be. He says he doesn't think it's going to be Donald Trump, but he says that he's there to support who that nominee is. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Monday. Hope you've had a lovely weekend. I managed to come down with an end of summer cold over the weekend, and I'm kind of pushing through it right now. So happy to be with you. And this is a really, really big week to start off the election season. And you're saying, Annie, are you kidding me? We've been at this. I know. We only have 442 days until Election Day, and we got it covered right here on 97.1 in the Annie Frey Show through the whole thing. We're going to speak with Bill Hemmer co-anchor of America's Newsroom with Bill Hemmer and Dana Perino. In about 15 minutes from now, I'm looking forward to talking to Bill about this GOP debate that is going to be hosted by Fox. So I'm proud to announce to you that we will be carrying that GOP debate here on 97.1. Starts at 8 p.m. Central Time, and we want to have your ears right here on the radio station on 97.1. If you can't join us at Dave & Buster's for our GOP debate watch party, you can go to 971talk.com/events to find out details. You got to reserve your spot, but it's free, so you might as well get one of the few remaining spots left to reserve. We'll all be there. Would love to watch the debate with you. The YouTube live chat poll question for today is, do you support the loyalty pledge requirement to debate? Yes or no? Brad, as I understand this was set by the GOP.
Yes.
They are the ones who say, here's what you have to do to qualify for the stage, and then Fox News gets to host the first one and moderate the first one, but the requirements are a GOP thing.
Yeah, all of the requirements, the individual voters, the polling percentages, and the loyalty pledge. I think that's all of them.
What was it's donors?
Yeah, like
polling
require
loyalty pledge.
Yeah,
I think is the sum of it. And so if you go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, you can vote in our poll, a very the scientific poll, which is what we like to say when it's not really science, it's the science. That's what we're taking here, the science of the Annie Frey Show audience. And we're trying to find out what you think about the importance of this loyalty pledge that the GOP has said, no, you need to participate in saying, yeah, I will support whomever the GOP nominee is going to be. Donald Trump has said he will not be at the debate on Wednesday. He's not going to do it. And there are a lot of different conversations that can be had about the intelligence behind that decision, the risk behind that decision, some of the consequence that can come behind that decision. And we're going to get to that a little bit later. I'm also going to ask Bill Hemmer about it as well at 12:25. But with the absence of Donald Trump, you got to ask, you look at the rest of, I think there are 8 candidates who have qualified so far. We're going to get all the details from Bill Hemmer here in about 15 minutes. And I think, honestly, in the absence of Donald Trump, this is going to be the best conversation that America will be able to have consumed so far to see what the Republican Party stands for. The idea that the Republican Party is an alternative to what the Democrats currently have to offer with President Biden in office. And for whatever reason, unbeknownst to me, they really want to put a name on the economy right now, the one that you and I are suffering through. They really want to put a name on it. And for whatever godforsaken reason, they want to name it after the guy who's in charge, Bidenomics. And they're like, just keep going out there, repeating it over and over and again. Say Bidenomics, put it out there so that everybody hears that this economy right now belongs to Joe Biden, as if somehow or another that's a good thing. Listen to the Wall Street Journal here.
Yeah, I think voters don't like inflation. We've been talking about that a lot in this year, and I think the White House wanted to take a Bidenomics victory lap because inflation isn't as bad as it was last summer at the peak over 9%. But the problem for consumers is prices are still rising.
This is so true.
And obviously, you look over the totality of this era, most Americans, in real terms, inflation adjusted, have gotten a pay cut.
When we hear that the president says inflation has come down, it's prices are still astronomically higher than they were before Bidenomics got put into play. And everyday Americans feel that. And everyday Americans, the ones who are going to go to decide who wins the next election, those people in the middle, not the super fans on the right, not the super fans on the left, the people who are going, I dread the day that I have to go put gas in my car. I dread the day that I have to go restock my pantry with groceries because 20% inflation on the things that I have to get at the grocery store means I put less food in my pantry to feed myself and to feed my family. That's the real experience of everyday Americans right here in St. Louis and flyover country who are trying to make ends meet, and they're hearing a victory lap from the man in charge who's named this economy after himself, basically go around the country and say, you're welcome. Have you said thank you yet? It's kind of hard to find the gratitude at the bottom of my wallet when I open it up and I see, good grief, I've got 4 kids to feed and less money to do it, and I'm working harder than I ever have. Going back to the YouTube live chat poll, do you support the loyalty pledge requirement to debate? At the end of all of the bickering and the ads and millions of dollars being spent on trying to defeat the other guy and make sure that you appear to be the more respectful choice between yourself and maybe a panel of 8 people on a debate stage, or even a bigger, wider field for those who didn't qualify for the stage, or the biggest of them all who opted out of the stage. In the midst of all of the bickering and mudslinging that's going to take place, and I'm only talking about the Republican side of the aisle, does all of that mudslinging about face after the primary is over to make sure that you defeat Joe Biden or whomever takes his place in that race? I still cannot imagine a scenario where the Democrats go all chips in the middle on Joe Biden. I don't see it happening. And I see several potential candidates. A lot of people want to say that the Democratic side doesn't have a strong, deep bench. I think they're overlooking some options, specifically Michelle Obama. Brad, you made a comment to me over this weekend that her name keeps popping up.
It's different sources, too. So Annie was the first. I want to make sure Annie gets credit for this. She was the first person to tell me this, and this is before I ever saw anything online. Then Roger Stone said it, and then there was a Fox News report, and it just keeps popping up and popping up and popping up, and I don't like it.
I feel like I've been saying that since a couple months after Joe Biden took the oath of office. I've been saying this for a long time. She's the one I fear the most from the left. I think that the Gavin Newsom resume is too powerful on the left side of policies that look a lot like what we're dealing with right now. I think the connection that can easily be made to the negative experience that people have, economically speaking, right now, can be too easily attached to Gavin Newsom. I think voting for Michelle Obama is a nostalgic vote for a lot of Democrats. There is a, make history vote there as well. One that I think that they would like to rectify even from the vice president that's in charge right now. I think that and then you compare, of course, who that person would be running against on the right. And I feel almost like, how could she lose? I don't think she wants to do it, but sometimes the only thing worse than doing it is not doing it. And I feel like that's the situation the Obamas might find themselves in right now. Supporting a loyalty pledge to get on the debate stage. I understand why, if the Republican Party said, this is what you have to do to debate, why these individuals would sign that pledge. I do question the idea of saying whomever wins the Republican Party is going to get the support of everyone else. I kind of, there's enough percentage of me that raises an eyebrow to that requirement by the Republican Party that makes me feel like the Republican Party is, as an entity, not you as a Republican, but the institution that is the GOP gets off the hook just a little bit too much for my liking. When you say to everyone, well, whatever we decide here as adults is who everyone is going to support, it almost makes me feel like the GOP gets to Pontius Pilate a little bit too much on the direction that primary goes. What I would like to see, and this is somebody, I'm somebody who, I just put out a post on X, Twixter, this yesterday or today, I don't even remember when it was. My only concern with Donald Trump as the front runner of the primary party is if he can win the general. That's the only thing that would cause me to reserve my vote in the primary for somebody else. He has not proven to me yet that he has what it takes to win in the general, to have a different outcome than 2020. I hear a lot of people saying this is 2016 all over again. I am not willing to look back and reminisce about 2016, although on Friday, I think it was, that we did the essential Wayne's World and went back and just kind of relived that moment, and that was lovely. I can't go back and look at 2016 and be all puppy, sunshine, and rainbows about Donald Trump's victory without remembering how much it was awful when he lost in 2020. And I don't know what is different in 2024 than 2020. I don't know how Joe Biden mustered that many votes and how the differential is going to be enough in Donald Trump's favor the third time for him to be able to come out ahead. And I'm not seeing yet from Donald Trump that he's going to make the effort to get people who aren't staunch loyalists, people outside of that, the skeptics. How does Donald Trump get the skeptics to vote for him? Because he's going to need the skeptics. He's going to need the people who go, this Biden experiment is a freaking disaster. This is unbelievable. How did we make such a mistake? We can never afford in this country to make that mistake again. And then they look across the aisle and see Donald Trump. Those people need to say, it's a better shot with Trump than it is Biden. They can't say, we can never make the Biden mistake again, look across the aisle and see Donald Trump and go, we can never make that mistake again, and then stay home or vote third party or just vote down ballot. We have to know how Donald Trump is going to say to the skeptics, I'm your guy, I'm your fighter, and this is why. If that has been his message, it's not resonating enough. I am not hearing in my private conversations with people who know that this current administration is a disaster, that they have the confidence and faith that Donald Trump is the solution. When I start hearing that, I will start believing it because I'm steeped in this stuff is up to my eyeballs, if not further than that. Donald Trump, imagine the prosperity this country would be feeling right now if Donald Trump had won re-election. In every which way, this country would be in a better position should Donald Trump have won the 2020 election. If Donald Trump was representing you and me and everybody in between for the last 3.5 years, we would be, the whole world would be in a drastically different position than where we are right now. I believe that in my heart. I know that in my brain. A lot of people don't pay that much attention to it. They're not going to pay attention to it until about 300 days from now. And when you have a very finite amount of time, how do you persuade those skeptics, the one who recognized the Biden mistake but have not learned their error in Donald Trump, how do those people change their minds? How does Donald Trump get them to vote for him? I want to know. I want to cover a Donald Trump re-election more than anybody. I question the GOP's responsibility or their requirement on this loyalty pledge. And when I look at the GOP, I kind of want to know from the GOP, do you promise to support Donald Trump should he win? Because there's a lot of hands off to everything right now. Donald Trump is under an aggressive assault from our Justice Department. And I'm waiting to see how the Republican Party is going to back him, regardless of whether or not they want him to win the primary. Does the Republican Party as a whole stand against what's happening to Donald Trump? I'm kind of questioning where the loyalty is there. Because as we continue to hear, what they're doing to Donald Trump, they can do to you. Go to the Anti-Frey YouTube channel and vote in our poll here. Do you support the loyalty pledge requirement to debate, yes or no? We're going to take a quick break and be joined by Bill Hemmer when we return. The co-anchor of America's Newsroom with Bill Hemmer and Dana Perino. He's fantastic when it comes to covering these big political events, and he's going to tell us a little bit about that when we return. Bill Hemmer in just a few minutes.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
The Retirement Advisory Group, led by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw and Tammy Kershaw, they are there to help you so you don't have to worry about that nest egg that you've been accumulating, working hard to provide for yourself in the midst of retirement. If you are in your very late 50s and your 60s and retirement is upon you and you have been thinking about, good grief, I've worked really hard to accumulate this savings, I hope that in the midst of any economy that I'm going to be able to live that worry-free retirement that I've been dreaming of for decades. You need the Retirement Advisory Group to help guide you through that process. When you make a phone call and you say, I heard about this on the Annie Frey Show. She said you'll sit down with me for free and tell me what you can do for me. You're going to set up an appointment, and then you're going to be able to make the call. You're smart enough to know if what they have to offer is for you. You just set up the appointment at 314-993-9494. You call 314-993-9494 and discuss with them, listen to what they have to say, tell them where you are right now in your retirement, and they're going to give you the plan you need to execute that worry-free retirement. 314-993-9494. Online right now at retirementkey.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-399-9407 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-399-9407. That's 800-399-9407. What do you have to lose? Call 800-399-9407. Again, 800-399-9407.
Former Pro Football offensive tackle Mitch Schwartz knows for a guy, buying jewelry is a daunting task at most stores, but not if you go to Diamonds Direct.
It's very simple and very easy process for a guy to go in there and not be overwhelmed.
Mitch found Diamonds Direct and has been back many times buying jewelry for his wife, Brooke, and he's never felt any pressure.
They're going to educate you about what you're looking for, what the diamonds are, how the process works.
At Diamonds Direct, we respect both you and your budget.
I think everyone's kind of searching for value. You don't want to be taken advantage of, and Diamonds Direct is leading in that regard. You're going to feel really comfortable there. You're going to have a good time. You're going to find something that looks amazing and that you're going to get the best value for it.
So if you're worried about getting sweaty palms when you walk into a jewelry store, relax. Take Mitch's advice and enjoy the experience at Diamonds Direct.
We have definitely recommended Diamonds Direct to friends, to other teammates. Everyone else who has been through there has had as awesome an experience as we have.
Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get directions, showroom hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
Calling all purse lovers and bag collectors. The High Demand Cardinals Purse Giveaway is back, and it's better than ever. On Saturday, September 2nd, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home a Busch Stadium exclusive Cardinals purse, thanks to Wells Fargo Advisors. This black handbag features a gold metal logo on the front and many upgraded compartments. Don't miss your chance to add this stylish purse to your collection. For tickets or info, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
On Sunday, September 3rd, the Cardinals wrap up their weekend series with the Pirates and pay special tribute to fan-favorite Cardinals moments. That day, 25,000 fans 16 and older take home an exclusive Cardinals moment flag presented by Air National Guard. It features players' names, slogans, and moments all selected by the fans. That's Sunday, September 3rd. The Birds, the Pirates, and the historic Cardinals Moments flag. For tickets and details, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Ozzie Smith. See you at the ballpark.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Want to watch the debate with us? Join us as a battle of the minds unfolds and the battle for our country ramps up. This Wednesday at Dave & Buster's. It's free to attend, but space is limited. Register at 971talk.com/events.
I'm through with standing in line. The clubs I'll never get in. It's like the bottom of the ninth, and I'm never gonna win this. Life hasn't turned out quite the way I want it to be.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I want a brand new house.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Well, I'm still holding out hope that President Trump will come. I think it's so important that the American people hear
from all the candidates. But there's a lot of candidates that have qualified. We're at 7 right now that have officially qualified with the small dollar donations, with the polling threshold and the pledge. And then we've got some that are on the cusp. So we're going to be looking at polls the next few days. There are 3 or 4 that are waiting for 1% and one more national poll to make that debate stage.
So Ronna McDaniel, that was yesterday on the Sunday show, saying she's still hopeful Trump will come to the debate. It's pretty certain, I think, that he's not going to be. But we're going to go to an expert on this. Bill Hemmer joins us now, co-anchor of America's Newsroom with Bill Hemmer and Dana Perino. Bill, it's a pleasure to have you here on the Annie Frey Show. Thank you for your time.
Hey, Annie, great to hear your voice, and hello to the great Midwest.
Yep.
How you doing?
Man, right now it is hot here. It is like stupid hot here right now, so we're all inside.
Gotcha. Well, I'm from Ohio, Ohio River Valley, hometown of Cincinnati. So I feel for you, but, Annie, that's why they call it August.
Exactly. It's time to stay inside and enjoy the AC. Well, we've got a big debate coming up here Wednesday, and Fox News has got all the coverage. I love watching you, Bill, be at the board and be able to show all the possible outcomes. There are a lot of key things that are going to matter when it comes to the election in 400-plus days, but this debate on Wednesday really kicks things off.
Yes, and exactly right. I think it's the political event of the summer, hands down. I really wish the former president would be there. I think it would add to the debate and the vigor of the debate. Regardless, his presence will still be on stage in so many ways. And you have some candidates who have yet to get a ton of exposure to millions and millions of Americans. And I mean, based on my experience, Annie, somebody's going to stick out, and someone's going to be talking about someone the very next day.
Yeah, that is very true. It is a huge opportunity. With Trump not being on the debate stage, I actually am kind of wondering, this might be the first introduction to a lot of people who are very disenchanted with the way everything is going right now in this country. If Donald Trump's not on the stage, he'll still be part of this the conversation for sure. But the Republican Party has a really good opportunity to offer an alternative sans the Trump drama that would tend to go along with it by saying, this is what I would do if I were president.
Yeah, I think every answer should start by saying exactly what you said. If I'm lucky enough to be your candidate, if I'm lucky enough to be your nominee, if I'm lucky enough to be president, this is what I would do. I think it's a really smart strategy. However, what we found from the Des Moines Register over the weekend is it's pretty stunning. I think the embargo is broken this morning, and Trump's at 42% in Iowa. DeSantis is 23 points back at 19%. There's no other candidate in double digits. Tim Scott at 9, Haley and Pence at 6. Can this change? Well, there's an opportunity to make it change, but this is pretty significant. And I don't know if you recall back in 2016, but a lot of the talk back then, Annie, was whether or not Trump could be attractive to evangelical voters. And Ted Cruz certainly was, because he won the Iowa caucus, but Trump was only 3 points behind at, I think it was 28-25, I believe. And now in that same survey among evangelicals, right, approve or disapprove, Trump's at 47% approval. And I think the reason for that, just for relative sake, DeSantis at 20. DeSantis is 27 points behind Trump at approvability. I think a lot of that has to do with the 6-week abortion ban that was passed in Iowa back in the midsummer, and now it's being held up in the court, so it's not enacted at the moment. But, Trump was the one who put the justices on the bench that led to the abortion decision. And I think a lot of evangelical voters in Iowa, the caucus goers, remember that.
We're speaking with Bill Hemmer, the co-anchor of America's Newsroom, with Bill Hemmer and Dana Perino on Fox News. Ron DeSantis talking about his numbers there. Donald Trump is the obvious front runner. He has not enjoyed the incumbency bounce of having a strong majority in the Republican Party. People are still interested in considering an alternative to Donald Trump. And Ron DeSantis has been the leader in that up to this point. But being second in line to Donald Trump, Trump spent a lot of money trying to disparage Ron DeSantis. Do you think that Ron DeSantis has yet had the opportunity to fully introduce himself on his own terms to the American people?
No, I agree with you. No, I'm sorry. I think the answer is no to your question, and this is another one of these golden opportunities in 36 hours and counting. By the way, same poll, Des Moines Register, if not Trump, who? Favorable versus unfavorable? That's the question. DeSantis might be well behind Trump, but he holds the best margin on favorable versus unfavorable. So they would all, in all likelihood, look at DeSantis as their second alternative based on this polling. One other thing that I think is very interesting, and I want your listeners to hear about this, Ann Seltzer is, they long considered the Des Moines Register poll that was run by Ann Seltzer, is run by Ann Seltzer, to be the gold standard in Iowa. But in the in January of 2020, early February 2020, Trump's on trial for impeachment. We're at the Super Bowl on Fox in Miami. We're covering both stories, about to fly to Iowa for the caucus the following Monday. We're all waiting for the Des Moines Register poll to drop on Saturday night. I don't know if you remember this or not, Annie. But they came out and they said, no results. We had a mistake in the polling that we conducted. We think it's polluted, and the poll never came out. And then 2 days later, they had this new system for counting for how they caucused in all 99 counties. And I don't know if you remember that, but that system broke too. So within 48 hours, you had two major functions within the state that went belly up. So Ann Seltzer runs the poll. She said this morning on MSNBC that all the surveys they did came after the indictments of Fulton County last week out of Atlanta, Georgia. And she believes that Trump got stronger with each indictment. We're up to 91 now. And she said that some support him because of the indictment. I don't know what that percentage is or how many that is, but look, as long as Trump still is in this campaign, which I expect him to be for the next year, you're going to have to ask yourself how many people within the Republican Party are saying, you know what, the guy's getting railroaded, and because of that, I support him now more than I ever have before.
Right.
There will be some within the electorate who feel that way. There will be others within the Republican Party who will turn around and go 180 degrees in the other direction.
Yep, that is a huge factor in how Americans will be voting. Republicans, certainly. We've had this conversation here with Bill Hemmer about the GOP primary debate coming up. And we have yet to really talk about Joe Biden, the ultimate prize should you win the nomination. That is who is the candidate, at least at this point, on the other side of the aisle. How much of the Fox News moderated debate do you expect to focus on Trump versus Biden?
Well, good question. I think a lot of that might depend on how the candidates choose to answer the questions. But, I think, part of me feels like take the issue of Ukraine. We haven't engaged in a national debate about the war and about the money we're spending. And all of it may be legitimate and necessary in this new world order that's been drawn up over the past year and a half. But we haven't had a commander-in-chief who's had an Oval Office address to say, this is why we need to give upwards of $80 billion to Ukraine. And he could do that, and maybe we all sit back and go, oh, okay, I get it. All right. But it hasn't happened. And I think Wednesday night, Annie, is a really good opportunity for the country just to have a national conversation on why the war is important. And driving Russia into China's arms could be a bad thing for us. Well, let's talk about it at a minimum.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. Bill Helmer with us right now. Last question for you. I heard a clip from Chris Christie talking about how he's the only one who's been on that debate stage before. A lot of very familiar faces for Americans who have paid any attention to politics, but Chris Christie is the only one who has run that presidential campaign and gotten on that debate stage prior. Do you feel like the inexperience or maybe the lack of experience on that stage particularly will be a little refreshing for Americans who are viewing this event Wednesday night?
I heard Chris Christie say he's done it 8 times. I don't remember 8, but I'm not going to say he's wrong on that. I do know he's going to go after Trump. I was just talking to him last week, and Trump is in his crosshairs. I've been impressed with Vivek Ramaswamy. I think he's been on the stump in Iowa, and he's been on the stump in New Hampshire. And the more you do that, Annie, the more rehearsed you get at your answers. Not to say that you're faking your answer, but it's more refined. And what we call in the business, stick the landing. Make your point, and then get to the period in the sentence, and make sure that people can remember it. I've watched DeSantis in countless interviews. I think he's very effective at it as well. Because they have not been there before, is it irreplaceable? No. DeSantis has been governor of Florida. He's run 2 campaigns. He's had debates down there that the entire state has watched, and in some cases, a lot of people across the country. I think it's going to be a really interesting moment. And I, for one, look at politics as sport. And there are winners and losers and strategies on both sides. And all that begins for 2024 on Wednesday night.
That's so spot on. And a ton of hard work will really help you succeed, but you always need a little luck as well. And we will be watching on Fox News at 8 p.m. The pregame coverage will be there, and we will be carrying it live on Fox News radio affiliate here, 97.1. Bill Hemmer, thank you so much for the conversation today. We appreciate you.
Thanks for the questions, Annie. Talk soon.
Yes, sounds great. Bye-bye. He's the co-anchor for America's Newsroom with Bill Hemmer and Dana Perino on Fox News, and grateful to have him on here giving us the X's and O's, so to speak, of the Wednesday night GOP debate. We will be carrying it live here on 97.1 FM Talk. If you're looking to watch it, of course, it will be on Fox News. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Wiggins America in studio with the Weekend Roundup. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
Somewhere between Cher and James Dean is fine for me. So how you gonna do it? I'm gonna trade this life for fortune and fame. I'd even cut my hair and change my name. 'Cause we all
just saw Dr. Ty Parker, Fountains Family Dentistry, last night, and I want to pass on a big thank you to 97.1 listeners for going to see Dr. Ty in Fairview Heights at Fountains Family Dentistry. He makes my job easy because I just tell you about the benefits of going to see him. One of those is how easy it is to get an appointment with Dr. Ty Parker. You go to fountains.familydentistry.com. You can click Make an Appointment right there. Even if you're not at your computer, your work computer right now, and you're just holding your phone, you can do that. fountains.familydentistry.com, make an appointment. They will either get back to you personally if you want them to do that, or they can just kind of schedule it with you online there. That is up to you. But you can also give them a call and talk to Steve. They're going to walk you through the whole process with insurance. Even if you don't have insurance, they'll work with you. They have new patient specials. So give them a call. Make them your one-stop shop for all things related to your dental needs, your teeth, because they do it all right there. And it's great to have it all in-house, not referred out for everything. Dr. Ty Parker, Fountains Family Dentistry, fountainsfamilydentistry.com in Fairview Heights. Easy to get to from either side of the river, right off of Highway 64, fountainsfamilydentistry.com.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all of the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie Siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
You're hearing a a commercial I set out for, and I wish I would have done this years ago, because I mean the trade, we're so done in trades because we're just getting brutalized by the working class. But if you want great service as quick as we can get to you, like we're busy, and reasonable prices, if you call me, I would not waste your time. You will get equipment that will heat and cool your home. If you're looking for a furnace or air conditioner, it broke down, or you just need service, call me. Bart Inman. Again, it's Bart Inman, and with one really easy number, Missouri and Illinois. There's only one number for Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600, or the internet. Well, that was a large breath. The internet. BartInman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
If you need to sell your home to buy a new home, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty on your side, fighting for every dollar for you. Check out thegelmanteam.com. That's thegelmanteam.com.
Coming up next, it's Wiggins America, followed by at 1:25, the Attorney General for the state of Missouri, Andrew Bailey, going to be on the show, followed by Steve Moore, Distinguished Fellow in Economics at Heritage. All that coming up next on the Annie Frey Show, as well as the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. Do you support the loyalty pledge requirement to debate? Let us know, yes or no. The time is right now, 12:43. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
You're listening to award-winning, thought-provoking talk. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
Your home for conservative talk.
On the air for over 20 years. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
My eyebrows raised there for a second.
Why?
Well, that was the edited version.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've never heard the dirty version. I've only heard the radio edit, apparently.
Oh, no, I'm pretty sure that the word there would be played. Would it be played on the radio? I don't know.
No, I don't
Kids
think
these
so.
days.
No? That song to me is important because there's every now and then a song comes along and captures exactly the way you feel when it comes out.
No Scrubs, is
and
that
that
for you?
one was for me in about 2002.
Were you the scrub?
No, I just did not want any scrubs at that time.
You were hanging out the passenger side of your best friend's
No,
ride?
those are scrubs.
No, I bet his rear end was hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's
None
ride.
of that. I was not in the mood at that moment. I had gone through that phase, and I am back in that phase.
Are you a mooner?
But at that moment,
So you're a scrub now.
I'm a scrub now.
Are you a mooner?
I've never been, and I should be. I really should, because it fits me. Like, it really goes well with my outfit.
I don't believe you.
I've never been a mooner. No. You know why? It's because I saw pictures in the 70s of people's
Self-conscious.
dads mooning people.
You're like, I don't want to be
And
that
I'm like,
dad.
I don't want to do that. That's weird. Those people are old now. That was when they were young.
I'll refrain from asking you if your dad.
I remember going to a couple friends' house when I was a kid and seeing pictures of that on the wall and being like, that's a weird thing to have up.
Pictures of it on the wall?
Yeah, not just one either. Like a couple different grade school friends.
Man, our parents and grandparents were not innocents.
No, they were not.
Which makes them liars. Because they raised us to think that that's the way we were supposed to be.
Yeah. Your words are meaningless. Boomers.
Yeah, boomers. You hear that?
All right, this is the news that you may have missed over the weekend, the most important stuff, obviously. While many people may want to make a difference when it comes to climate change, new research indicates that the power for meaningful change is really in the hands of the ultra-rich. Take this figure, for example. The top
ones making all the money off of climate change?
You know exactly where I'm going. The top 10%, this is from just some climate journal. This isn't from a, Fox News or something. This is a climate journal. The top 10 highest income earning households.
You just said that like Fox News is scripture.
No, I'm saying this isn't any sort of right-leaning news outlet.
Oh.
This is just a climate journal.
This is the
reporting
scientific publication.
Exactly. The top 10% highest income earning households in the U.S. were responsible for 40% of the greenhouse gas emissions in 2019 alone, revealed a study published Thursday in the PLOS Climate Journal.
It's hard to take these folks seriously.
Isn't it? Because it's not just the people making the money. It's the people even spreading the information about the topic at all that are the worst polluters, apparently, in the United States, probably the world. It's wonderful to see that these studies do come out and point these out, but they don't get much attention. That's why I wanted to bring it up today.
There's a great sound clip. I'm looking for it. Pretty sure it's Senator Kennedy, and it's a climate hearing. He's trying to find out if Congress gave
I remember this.
The department everything they asked for.
Yes.
Every friggin' penny of yours that is taken out of your income on your W-2 or on your pay stub. If every penny, they were like, yes.
Yes.
You can have it. How much would we lower the temperature of the globe? And they're like, well, it's hard to determine. And he just keeps going, how much would it go down? You get everything you want. What? And they could not answer the question.
It's a brilliant question.
They couldn't even commit that it would actually lower. It's unreal.
It was a rare moment of honesty from, I think he just caught him off guard so much that because all they had to say was, oh yeah, it'll work. Which is what they usually do. But in that moment, he wasn't asking, will it work? He's asking how much, which is such a great way to phrase that question.
I mean, it was in the end, actually, will it work? And the answer was,
we don't know.
We're not sure. We'll be able to answer that question at least this much after you give us the money.
Yeah, well, we need to find out. Let us know. We'll give you the results.
Yeah.
The government is selling supplies bought to build Trump's border wall. So all of that stuff that you paid for already with your tax dollars, it says the Biden administration has started to auction off millions of dollars worth of parts that former President Donald Trump's administration initially bought, and AKA you bought, to build the southern border wall, according to reports. These are the slats, the tubes. You guys, this is where you were standing, right? You saw some of this. They have in total, as of last Tuesday, the auction house had sold 729 of the beams in different lots for a total of $212 a piece, making $154,000 off of them. The total that they've made entirely, all auction houses, is about $2 million. The Army Corps of Engineers said that unused materials were wasting about $300 million worth of taxpayer dollars. So just to summarize, this is the wall that was already paid for. The article doesn't say it, but the contractors were already paid also, that they decided we're just not going to build anything. We're going to waste that money, and now they're just selling off the parts.
The interesting thing is they understand that the border wall exists. They know that it exists. They know that it's been not completed. So they are paying attention to it enough to invest in this as a solution.
Yes.
It's not like they didn't know. It's not ignorance.
Right.
Got 28 seconds to hear Senator Kennedy?
Oh, yeah, please.
Yeah, let's do this here.
If we spend $50 trillion to make the United States of America carbon neutral by 2050, how much will that lower world temperatures?
I can't answer that because we don't know what China and India and the rest of the globe has done.
Okay. Have you heard anybody from the Biden administration say how much it will lower world temperatures?
No.
Does anybody know how much it will lower world temperatures? No?
No.
Does anybody know?
$50 trillion. $50 trillion for no measurable outcome. We could spend $100 trillion, and it still depends on what China and India and whomever else he listed there are going to do. But still your money that you need to put food on your table and diapers on your baby's bottoms and gasoline with its skyrocketing prices into your vehicle. They want $50 trillion of your great-grandchildren's dollars for no measurable outcome. Ladies and gentlemen, the government. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but think about if we don't spend it.
No. Yes. Yes, vote Republican.
Oh, wait, that's a good thing?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But what if we didn't?
What if we just did nothing?
Yes. Policy, campaign slogan, run on it, win on it. I vote for you. Who are you? I don't even care.
While that is a great question, he should have asked one more. What if we did nothing? What would be the difference?
I actually think that might have been part of a longer clip.
You know what?
It's unbelievable.
The guy answers honestly there. He says, well, we don't really know what China and India and all these other countries do. That's what a lot of conservative pundits have been saying for a long time. You have to have everybody on board.
They're worried about the oceans rising an inch in a few decades because of global warming, when they really need to be worried about thermonuclear warming. I mean, Russia is threatening to use their nuclear weapons. They're bombing nuclear plants in Ukraine. I mean, we have to take Russia on today. That's the near-term target, the near-term issue. And that means cutting off the transactions that allow them to do oil. I mean, that's it, period.
Listen to, that's Congressman Green. This is a clip from March 9th of 2022.
Okay.
March 9th of 2022, saying we have to cut off Russia's oil, we have to cripple them, and they're bombing Ukraine nuclear entities. We knew about it then. We have to cut Russia off now. So Joe Biden said, here's your pipeline.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see a consistency here. This is America Last. Voted out.
I'm just whipping this thing through. I'm seeing conflicting reports about the number of people who've qualified. Fox News is saying 8 have qualified for the debate on Wednesday night. New York Times, as of just an hour ago, was saying 7.
They don't know what a Republican is, though, so.
Right. They're confused.
Like, oh, Chris Christie counts? That's 8.
That's 8. This article, though, says that there are 7. Well, no. New York Times says 7. This article says 8.
What's that article from?
This is Odysseys. Doug Burgum.
I would go with that one.
Of North Dakota, former Governor Chris Christie, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Tim Scott. +1. Know about this guy at all?
Is that the governor?
Perry Johnson.
No.
Businessman Perry Johnson says that he has qualified.
Is the governor, is it Hageman? I'm not saying that right. I don't know if that's,
I think it's Hageman.
Hageman? I don't know if that's right. Isn't he the one who gave out Amazon gift cards for $1 donations?
Oh, I didn't read that. That's a great strategy.
It was a while ago, but you need a certain amount of donors. He was giving out like $25 Amazon gift cards or something for $1 donations.
Well, that's why this guy has qualified, is that he needed 40,000 people to support his campaign. Perry Johnson, Michigan businessman.
He doesn't even go here.
Yeah, who? And he says, hallelujah, I hit 1% in the polls. That's not a direct quote, but that's what he says, that he has now qualified, but I can't find anywhere other than him that substantiates that he actually will be there Wednesday night, but he is saying that he will. So maybe we'll get to know more about Perry Johnson. Maybe we'll love him because we love business people. But I still don't know. So it's somewhere between 7 and 9 that are going to be there on Wednesday night, according to multiple sources. You guys fans of the Freddy Krueger series?
No.
Mm-mm.
I'm not a fan. I'm also not very familiar.
There are many movies in this franchise.
Is that Friday the 13th?
No, that's Jason.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
And Halloween is Michael Myers. So this is Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Is Nightmare on Elm Street 84, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, 85. Number 3 is Dream Warriors 87. Number 4 is Dream Master 88. Number 5 is Dream Child. And then Final Nightmare and New Nightmare and Freddy vs. Jason. There's a ton of these movies. They asked Robert Englund, what is your favorite film in the franchise?
Who's Robert Englund?
He is Freddy Krueger.
Okay.
They asked him, what was your favorite film?
You've overestimated the amount of information that we would have to have before.
He says it was the second to last one he was in, New Nightmare, in 1994. And I just wanted to mention this because they asked him the question that I was like, I hope they ask this. What was your favorite kill in all of the Freddy movies? And I'm going to say it. If you've ever seen it, you'll know. He says it's the head-exploding death of the hard-hearing Carlos in Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare.
This was a point of personal pleasure for you. I just want you to understand that. Because I don't know any of the words you just said. Other than Freddy Krueger. That's pretty much
you know who he is.
The extent of my knowledge.
He kills people.
I now know more about Freddy Krueger than the guy who you said from Michigan.
Perry Johnson.
Yeah, maybe Freddy Krueger will be on that stage. Andrew Bailey, the Attorney General for the state of Missouri at 125. Don't go away.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope, and they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks? Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
And now, try Babbel free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Imagine what your backyard could look like once my friends from Chesterfield Fence and Deck have been there. Mark Cox here. Listen, mention my name, mention Mark, and get 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They've been around for 55 years. They are one of St. Louis' top names in home improvements with a commitment to quality and professionalism. And you know that you have their sign in your yard. It's a sign you have the very best. Locally owned and operated for 55 years. They will come to your house, give you a free estimate at no obligation, free project design as well. They'll take measurements. They'll show you all of their product offerings right there at your house, or you can go to their showroom if you need that extra inspiration. But they do fences, they do decks, they do custom sunrooms and screen rooms and pergolas. Take advantage of it. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Go online today and check them out at chesterfieldfence.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
This planet is so incredibly beautiful that I can't get enough of it. I did 950 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and Good Feet was with me all the way. Your passion's important, but if your body aches and if your heel feels like you've got a nail stuck in it and won't come out, trust me, it's going to wear you down. The Good Feet store knew what they were talking about and took the time to really dial in what I needed. I hiked 84 miles in the Himalaya and to do it pain-free. You think I'm not grateful for Good Feet?
Get ready for your summer adventures. Come to the Good Feet store today. Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. You deserve comfort in your life. Come in for your free test walk today.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Countdown in Milwaukee. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The city is home to the first Republican presidential debate of the 2024 race Wednesday on Fox.
8 have qualified to be on the debate stage, hitting the mark for polling, fundraising, and signing that pledge that they'll support whoever the nominee is. 4 candidates have only reached the fundraising goal. A new poll out of Iowa has former President Donald Trump with a commanding lead in the race, holding a more than double lead over Florida Governor Ron DeSantis at this time. That lead, one main reason that Trump says he's not going to debate, adding that with his, quote, legendary numbers, he doesn't need to.
Fox's Alexis McAdams in Milwaukee. You can hear special coverage beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday at foxnewsradio.com. President Biden and the First Lady are getting a first-hand look at the wildfire devastation on Maui, where 114 are known dead, and search and recovery operations continue. The president will also meet with families, survivors, and first responders, pledging to do everything possible to help Maui recover and rebuild. Parts of the southwestern U.S. are recovering from a year's worth of rain from Tropical Storm Hillary, leading to an ongoing flood threat. L.A. Fire Chief Kristen Crowley.
LAFD responded to 1,833 emergency incidents. We received a total of 4,105 telephone calls to our 911 dispatch center.
Parts of several states remain under a flood watch from Arizona to Washington. New York State might use national parkland to house asylum seekers in New York City.
The shelter system was absolutely taxed and overflowing. The mayor doing the very best he could with the circumstances he had, but we knew that larger scale sites would be better. We also determined that the federal government should be helping us with this.
Governor Kathy Hochul announcing a tentative contract with the Biden administration to set up shelter at Floyd Bennett Field in Brooklyn. America is listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's all about the summer bake this afternoon and all week long. Sunny, hot, and humid. 99 for the high today. Heat index between 4 and 5 o'clock this afternoon, 115. Tonight, clear and humid. 90s for evening plans. 78 for the low. Tuesday, sunny, hot, and humid. 100 degrees Tuesday afternoon. Do that again on Wednesday. This heat takes us right through Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you're looking at new windows for your house, choose wisely. Mark Cox here for my friends at Window World. You want to go with a company you can trust. Ranked #1 in the number of windows sold in the country. That's according to Qualified Remodeler magazine. In just over 20 years in business, they've improved the look and obviously the thermal efficiency of over 70,000 customers in St. Louis. They're going to give you a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts and the glass breakage and the labor. It's a good product. Call them at 314-993-1800 for your free estimate. That's 314-993-1800. Window World won the Good Housekeeping Seal of Approval. That's not easy. They rely on the expertise of their in-house engineers and their analysts and their product experts to give that seal of approval. That should matter to you as well. Call for your free estimate right now. Simply the best for less at Window World. 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is online at igotfloored.com. And when you're shopping for flooring, you want somebody in the business that you know. You know what it's like to go do business with a neighbor, with a friend, with a family member, somebody who you know you can trust. Michael's Flooring Outlet has been that for so many Annie Frey Show listeners over the course of the years, 97.1 listeners over the course of even longer. Working with Michael's Flooring Outlet means you're going to get value. It means you're going to get quality with the purchase that you're going to make. They are there to make sure that the process of buying flooring makes you comfortable, makes you confident. Michael's Flooring Outlet is easy to find online at igotfloored.com, and you can request an estimate there. You can see the products, the different kinds of products, the different colors of different products. But when you go into one of the stores that is across the St. Louis region at this locally owned and operated business, you are going to be able to see why people become repeat customers of Michael's Flooring Outlet, because you can trust them. Reach out to them online at igotfloored.com.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions, and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
We are Under Law, your St. Louis legal powerhouse. Auto accidents, work injuries, pharmaceutical litigations, we do it all.
Onder Law. Call 314 or 618-9000 to learn more.
Fox Across America has landed on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Weeknights at 6.
Hey, it's your radio buddy Jimmy Fallon here, and I am fired up, psyched to be here on 97.1.
Jimmy Fallon.
Every weeknight at 6.
97.1 FM Talk. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love it.
Right? You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Ultimately, a movement can't be about the personality of one individual. The movement has got to be about what are you trying to achieve on behalf of the American people. And that's got to be based in principle, because if you're not rooted in principle, if all we are is listless vessels that's just supposed to follow, whatever happens to come down the pike on Truth Social every morning, that's not going to be a durable movement.
So apparently Ron DeSantis is getting some heat for these comments. Have you guys heard the people questioning the listless vessels?
I know that I would say Team Trump on Twitter has been going in hard, and then everybody's jumped on.
Well, that's just a Monday.
But they're he's calling us listless vessels, and so they're trying to make listless vessels the new deplorables comment. And I don't know. I've listened to this a couple times, and I don't think this was targeted at anybody specifically.
I didn't really hear it that way. I mean, let's listen to.
Ultimately, a movement can't be about the personality of one individual. The movement has got to be about what are you trying to achieve on behalf of the American people. And that's got to be based in principle, because if you're not rooted in principle, if all we are is listless vessels that's just supposed to follow, whatever happens to come down the pike on Truth Social every morning, that's not going to be a durable movement.
I mean, it's an obvious shot at Trump because he could kind of play coy and say it wasn't about Trump, but when you throw Truth Social out there, that is what you're talking about. But I don't know that there's anything about that I really disagree with. I think that the argument, if you're a Trump supporter, the argument to that is we are based in principle. I think what Ron DeSantis is saying there is that there are people who support Donald Trump on principle, but there are also people who support Donald Trump because he's Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't really matter what Donald Trump does. They're going to support him regardless, which would make it not about principle. There are certainly those people on the left. There are people who support the Republican Party as a whole in that way. I mean, I might actually make the case that there are more people who support whomever they support because the R or the D is there than who could sit down and really explain these are my foundational principles, which is why I am lending my support to said candidate who is of said party.
I don't think from listening to that, and I saw the blowback this weekend too, I don't think there's any doubt that he's taking a shot at Trump supporters in that clip. I think there is a doubt as to whether he's taking a shot at all Trump supporters or just some people who support whatever Trump does regardless.
Do you think, Ryan, that there are people who support Donald Trump blindly and that Trump is more important than anything else?
Yes, I do.
Is there any question about that, Brad?
I don't think there's any question about that at all.
I don't understand I don't know if I talked about this on the air yet, so I won't go too deep into it unless you guys are like, no, you haven't. I'm really getting frustrated with the idea that if you're not all in on Donald Trump, that there is a group of people that exist out there that is all in on Donald Trump, all in 100% for whatever particular reason, not because they're listless vessels, but they believe this is the direction, this is the only choice. I'm getting really, really exhausted with the people who are all in on Donald Trump and they feel like the only way to react to people who may be questioning it is to insult them. It doesn't make sense to me that if people, like me are saying, I love Donald Trump and I want Donald Trump to get a second chance, but I fear that he won't have what it takes to win a general election. It seems to me that the natural response to that concern that I have would be to persuade me into why I am wrong on that and to give me reasons, facts, quotes, whatever it might be, that suggest that there's another way to look at it, as opposed to pointing at me and calling names and questioning my loyalties. Folks, my loyalty is to the country, to the Constitution, and to my family. That's about it. And I want to see this country return to an America First mentality. I would like America to be made great again. I think Donald Trump has proven that he can do it. I'd like to see him prove that he can do it again. But if the only question at hand is, the proverbial gun to your head asking you if you're going to be loyal or not, that's not as enticing as I presume they think it is, because it's such a frequently used mechanism to have that conversation.
Yeah, pollsters I watch on Twitter and follow on Twitter who are right-leaning, so they clearly have skin in the game. They're not objective pollsters, but they are good. They deal in real data. And what disappoints me, the ones that are kind of in the bag for Trump, I follow them so that they will use data to back up their opinions. And a lot of times they just don't. It's like there are people who follow Trump who have taken on the Trump persona, in a sense, and it bothers me, especially with people who know better. Because there's always going to be people who just support their politician. There's a lot of them for Trump. There's some for every candidate, though. But with him, I expect more of certain people who are smarter than that, and they're not delivering it, and it kind of makes me mad.
You have any thoughts?
Yeah, to me, I look at this, and I think one of the best things that Donald Trump has going for him is that any attack on Donald Trump will be perceived as an attack on his supporters. And this is how Donald Trump has become so successful, is because he has linked himself with his supporters to the point where they see themselves in him. They see him as their representative, him as their champion. And when you attack their champion, you're attacking them. When you attack what their champion stands for, you're attacking what they stand for. And that's what makes it so difficult for anybody to gain any traction with any sort of shots against Donald Trump, despite his obvious flaws that he has. You point out those flaws, and immediately, reflexively, the people respond as though you've attacked him. It's brilliant how he was able to manage that and how he was able to do that. But that's what makes it so difficult to run against Donald Trump.
We have a listener who says, I work with the guy you guys just described. It's annoying. And then he later wrote, and he's listening right now and is puffing out his chest as I
Oh, they're listening together. Hey,
Yeah.
man. Hey, just know that we just read your comment on the air. So he listened to that,
I didn't
too.
say the guy's name.
I almost did, but I stopped.
What do you... Here's a question, because, I have been a supporter of Ron DeSantis's. I've wanted him to be the president before Donald Trump announced officially he was running again. I really have been a fan of Ron DeSantis since 2020, when he opened Florida up and got that those people got to live in a free America. And in Illinois, it was like last maybe April or May, I think, when J.B. Pritzker said my loyal and unloyal subjects can now live free as well. That's not freedom. What do you want to hear from the always Trump faction? Like, what would be persuasive outside of it's Trump or nothing? And if you don't support Trump, if you bail on Trump right now, that your loyalty is somehow in question to, like, all things American. Because I really feel like that is, for a lot of people who are so passionate about this one candidate, the stakes are super high, and I agree with them. The stakes are super high, but, like, what would be a more persuasive position for someone like that to come to someone like myself, probably like Brad, to say, what if you considered thinking about it this way, as opposed to how could you back out? How could you bail on Trump?
Well, I think the obvious answer to your question is to talk about his record as president much, much more. However, after I just said that and said, I'm with you. I want to hear more of that stuff. I think that's a better argument. At the same time, those people are making a strong argument for Trump and being like, this is for America, because of the persecution that is consistent with the the Democrat Party going after Trump still. So they're saying, look, you have to support this guy because he's the one that's going against the system. And in a sense, they're right, because the more these indictments come down, the more it does get my loyalty gin back up for Trump, because I go, man, they must really be afraid of this guy. He's taken on the system like nobody else. So in a sense, that does work.
Brad, is Trump the only one who can reshape the system the way it needs to be?
No, I think that Vivek Ramaswamy could do it. I think that Ron DeSantis could do it. I think that Tim Scott could do it. There's a whole bunch of these Republican candidates that could reshape the system, because the argument is he's not just coming. They're not just coming after Trump. They're coming after all of us. Well, they're coming after these Republicans as well. If they're coming after all of us,
if they were polling better, they would.
Well, that's my point, though.
Well, anybody who stands in the way of Democrats.
Exactly.
That's why we keep hearing from the Democrats, democracy is at stake. And ironically, the only way to preserve democracy is to vote the way they tell you.
Yeah, democracy's at stake, so we need to.
You think it means.
We need to go after people legally
and
prosecute our political opponents to save democracy. I hear what you guys are saying, and I agree. It's just so multifaceted because of what's happening to that candidate right now. It adds layers to it.
Here's my concern, and this is my concern. You, Annie, and myself, we are political junkies. We're political nerds. We're in this. We're on this all the time. We know what's going on. Annie, you were saying just the other day that you spoke to somebody and you were asking them about Trump. They're like, oh, you think he's going to run?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are a bunch of people out there that probably don't know anything other than Donald Trump is being indicted. And in their brain, they go, well, he's being indicted. He probably deserves it, because in their brain, because they're not as steeped in politics as we are, they look at this and say, the justice system works the way we expect it to work. There's no way anybody in the United States would ever weaponize the Justice Department. They wouldn't think that. So if you were wanting to take the attitude that you got, then you have to break through to those people that aren't paying any attention to that. Because otherwise, when the election time rolls around, what these people that I'm describing are going to do is they're going to look at this and be like, well, you got one guy who's under indictment, and he probably deserves it, and Joe Biden, who hasn't done a great job as president, but at least he's not under indictment.
Well, I think
these are the people you have to convince.
Yeah, I understand, but I think you're making leaps as to what they believe, and I will too. I'll make the same leaps, and I'll say I talked to somebody this weekend, personal story, who I knew was pretty apolitical. And I asked them directly, what do you think about these indictments? Actually, can you even tell me how many there have been? The answer was no. They didn't know how many. They knew there had been some. And their answer to me was, it seems uneven. It seems like they're doing things to him that they're not doing to
seems unfair.
Joe Biden. And they use the word uneven, which is like great, because that's not a word I typically use. So I heard that and I said, well, maybe not. They probably, I don't know their politics, but they probably lean right a little bit. So maybe that's coloring their opinion. But that's an apolitical person too. And so we don't necessarily know how this is going to play out.
Well, there's a difference between an apolitical person and an apolitical independent. And with the new laws where you've got mail-out ballots and all sorts of stuff, you've got people that are completely disengaged that will vote, and they will vote based on whatever limited knowledge they have. And that's what happened in 2020. There was a bunch of people out there that all they knew was they're going through COVID. This guy's in charge. We don't like him. This guy says he'll do better. We like him. And we ended up with 81 million votes for Joe Biden. I remain unconvinced that, especially like with polls, I'm of the mind that a poll is a persuasive thing. And whenever you see CBS and Harvard Harris and all these other polls coming out, which are typically left-leaning polls, saying Donald Trump is leading Joe Biden in these places, there is no doubt in my mind that they would put their thumb on the scale so that it would make it look like
Does the left want Donald Trump to be the nominee?
The left wants Donald Trump to be the nominee, and they will do everything, absolutely everything. The indictments are evidence of that. And if you look at how they would put their thumb on the scale of these polls just to show that, hey, maybe Donald Trump does have a shot, maybe he's doing better, they will shape these polls. I don't trust them.
When it comes down to conversation that takes place in your families, in your friend circles, with your trusted coworkers, with people who you might be socializing with, maybe outside of church or at a sporting event for your kids or something. Everybody involved, the people who love Donald Trump and are Trump or die, and the people who hate Donald Trump and are never Trump or die. Everybody in that group, and me included, floating around somewhere in the middle there, has to remember that nobody else's vote gets to be judged or cast by anybody else. Just like the Democrats are saying, you have to do this or democracy is at stake. You have to always vote for Democrats. It just doesn't actually make sense. The aggression and the judgment that comes from both wings of the Trump spectrum, never Trump, always Trump, is not helping either cause. When you have a conversation with somebody who thinks that Donald Trump is the worst person to ever walk the face of the planet, and you know that there's nothing that you could say to them that is going to cause them to reason with you, it's not really a conversation worth pursuing. If you talk to somebody who only is there to tell you that you have to vote for Donald Trump and any other vote, like I hear this phrase a lot. If you're not going to support Trump, I'm done with you. Don't ever talk to me again. Like that, literally. Yet you're nodding your head.
I've seen it.
This exists.
Yeah, it does.
In large scale and in small scale, that is a very small-minded approach to actually furthering your cause of getting more people persuaded to consider Trump. I understand if that's the way you feel. I understand if you think in your mind, I just don't understand how anybody could bail on this man at this point in time. How could you be watching and paying attention to what's going on and bail on him at this time? You will not persuade people who are in the middle, who know that the current situation is a disaster, who are looking for an alternative but don't feel like they can lean into the Trump vote. You are not persuading anybody by slapping them across the face and telling them to pound sand from either side. I wish that we could, on our own, show the rest of the talking heads how it's done in America with some actual discourse. Let's take a very, very quick break, just a minute here, and we're going to be back with the Attorney General for the state of Missouri, Andrew Bailey, on his law banning puberty blockers for minors that's in court right now.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Stewart's American Mortgage, you can find him by calling 314-324-4440 and talk to Stewie about the bagel loan. Now, mortgages are pretty complicated right now because rates have gone up. We know that they have increased. They're at like a 21-year high. Yes, I understand that. If you are in the business of looking to buy a new house, though, you're going to need a mortgage. You're going to need the lowest rate you can possibly get, and you're going to want to pay no closing costs because you need every penny that you can get. That's when you go to Stewart's American Mortgage. That's when you talk to my friend Stewie. He has the best deal in town. He is nationally recognized as the second most successful lender in the country, and he's right here in St. Louis in Overland. 314-324-4440. Stewie is there to guide you through this process and make sure that you are well taken care of, that you are going to be able to access a very, very quick close to make you the most competitive buyer, to make a strong offer with a pre-approval letter that you can generate once you've been pre-approved right from his website. You don't have to wait on anybody to do it. He has so many accommodations he's making to make buyers the most competitive buyers in the process, and it's going to save you thousands of dollars in the end. If you're looking to get a mortgage, you want Stewie on your side. Stewart's American Mortgage. Ask him about the bagel loan. Call or text 314-324-4440. You can Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years. Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO. Easy to remember phone number. Or go online today at 877-25rhino.com.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
one thing that is often alleged or insinuated is that we are hypocrites because we are the party of small government, and yet we are advocating for government involvement in this area. Mr. Speaker, small government Republicans have never said that it is inappropriate for government to get involved when it comes to protecting children. And when you have kids being surgically and or chemically altered for life for no good reason, yes, it is time for the government to get involved and say this is wrong and we are going to stop it.
That's Missouri State Representative Brad Hudson from the Missouri House floor, and they're talking about this bill that is set to go into effect on August 28th, and it is pushing back on the idea that these transgender procedures, child mutilation, as some people are calling it. I completely agree with that. It's in court right now. It's being challenged by the ACLU and Lambda Legal, and they're fighting on behalf of this bill and children in the state of Missouri is the Attorney General of the state, Andrew Bailey, and he joins us right now. Attorney General, thank you for being with us here today. A very important subject at hand.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. Proud to live in a state where we put protecting children first. I want Missouri to be the safest state in the nation for children. And look at what the other side is fighting for. They're arguing that there's a constitutional right to chemical sterilization of children who experience gender dysphoria. I mean, obviously that is absurd on its face. And so that's why this bill is so important. You know, when the General Assembly passes legislation and the governor signs it into law, that's two branches of government telling me that that law is constitutional. We're going to take that to court and fight to defend it. And we expect a good result.
So talk to me, Andrew Bailey, about the actual law that was passed, what it permits Missourians to do and what it doesn't permit Missourians to do, maybe compared to other states.
Yeah, well, it basically puts an end to this experimental procedures on children. I mean, it acknowledges the fact that there are zero FDA approvals or clinical trials showing the effectiveness or safety of puberty blockers or cross-sex hormones for treatment of gender dysphoria amongst juveniles. It also ends those surgeries that are irreversible, and we know based on experience in European countries can cause extreme long-term health consequences. So puts a stop on all of that and puts the safety and welfare of children first. And I'm, again, proud to live in a state where our General Assembly has enacted those kind of safeguards. And it makes a lot of sense that, that it's enraged the other side. They want to call it healthcare, but it's not healthcare because it's not based in science. And that was pointed out in court last Friday when we were cross-examining the other side's witnesses, the other side's experts. They had to admit the fact that they were not aware of the studies from Europe that showed this is not safe and that these procedures are dangerous. They had to acknowledge the fact that their reliance on studies in the United States was based on weak science. So don't let them lie to you and convince you that this is healthcare, when in fact this is just the sterilization of children with mental health issues.
So, I mean, Missouri has been a leader on pushing back against these medical procedures for children, the permanency of these procedures. Talk to me about the ages with which, in the absence of this new law, like maybe give me an example of what could have happened to a Missourian child that the Republicans together have come to say, no, we're not going to do that here.
Yeah, I mean, there were no safeguards at all. I mean, that's the frightening thing about this. There were no safeguards at all. So any age child could have been subject to this kind of forced sterilization, both chemical sterilization with the administration of puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones, or surgical sterilization with the transition surgeries. And so, again, we've seen this have a really negative impact on a generation of children in Europe. The frequency with which these procedures were being conducted in our state and across the United States of America had increased in the past 3 years. And it was a critical time in our nation's history to say no to this kind of junk science, which it's really false science. It's not science at all. And so there weren't no safeguards in place. And this law is a common sense measure to protect children from woke left-wing experimentation.
We're speaking with Andrew Bailey. He's the Attorney General for the state of Missouri. You are a leader on this particular issue here in the state of Missouri, but as I understand it, you have building momentum and support from other attorney generals across the country.
Yeah, several other state attorneys general have stepped up in support of our efforts. Certainly, we've coordinated with them. Other states have gone through this. We're about I believe, the 8th state to enact such legislation. So before we went to court to defend our law, we pick up the phone and call and war game with those other states and to figure out what worked well and what didn't, and what is the, drop a winning play here in order to defend the constitutionality of our statute and protect kids. And so that was really beneficial. And those other state attorneys general have given us, hey, you talk to this witness, put on this evidence first, argue it this way. Here's the science we looked at. But they've also filed an amicus brief, meaning they have filed a brief in our state court siding with us on the constitutionality of this law, pointing out that it's been upheld in other contexts. And so having that support of other state attorneys general is really critical, and really, again, just partnering with like-minded states to achieve common sense results and protect kids makes all the sense in the world.
So I'm looking, let's flash back to February 9th of 2023. There is an article that talks about how you had confirmed a launch of a multi-agency investigation into St. Louis's transgender center for harming hundreds of children. So you've been looking into this specifically here in the St. Louis region. I mean, this is something that is very local to many Missourians and likely happening under the noses of communities that don't even realize that this type of procedure is taking place in our own communities.
Well, and that's why it's so important to shine the light of truth on these dangerous procedures and the lies that the left wants to tell you about them to try to justify the sterilization of children. And then the whistleblower really opened our eyes to some of the, accusations of the parade of horribles going on at the clinic, according to her sworn affidavit. I mean, parents were being coerced into these kind of transition surgeries. Children under 18 were being referred for transition surgeries. Puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones were alleged to have been administered without any psychological or psychiatric assessments or treatments. I mean, why aren't we treating a mental health condition with traditional mental health, forms of treatment rather than racing off to dangerous pills that aren't approved for this? So, I mean, again, Jamie Reed's sworn affidavit was really illuminating, and we asked the clinic to put a stop to it, to institute a moratorium and give our investigation time to play out. The clinic refused and said that they were the only clinic in the state offering this kinds of treatment. That's not true. A subsequent investigation uncovered the fact that there was a shadowing clandestine network of these clinics operating across the state. And that's why it was so important for our General Assembly to act. So proud that they did so, and we're going to have their back in court to defend this statute.
Yeah, it's even kind of bizarre that if you were offering this type of medical procedure that you would feel as though you needed to do it in some sort of shadow industry. If it's good for medical care of individuals, including minors, why do it in the shadows?
Yeah, that's right. And, I hear from doctors all the time how they're totally with us, but they're afraid of their professional licensure if they speak out, because it's the woke left has so overtaken the medical profession that the doctors and nurses who realize that this is junk science, realize this is dangerous, realize that it's harming children, are afraid to even speak out because their voices have been silenced by the hate machine of the left. And we're not going to let that happen in the state of Missouri.
So the challenge is coming in here through the ACLU and Lambda Legal. What is their challenge? On what basis are they saying no, that this is an unconstitutional law and they're challenging its existence?
Yeah, well, first of all, I mean, judge me by my enemies. If Planned Parenthood, Lambda Legal, the ACLU don't like me, it means because I'm doing a good job.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you that they've raised all state constitutional claims because they wanted to stay in state court, even though our state constitution is interpreted the same way that the federal constitution is. Really, the thrust of their argument is that this law violates the Equal Protection Clause, which really fails on its face. If gender is immutable, in other words, if gender isn't objective, there is no equal protection violation. So it's absolutely absurd that they've chosen this vehicle to raise their claims, and there's nothing discriminatory about protecting kids from sterilization. I remember a decision that came out of the United States Supreme Court in which a famed jurist, and really one of the darkest moments in our nation's history, justified the forced sterilization of children with mental handicaps, and said that one generation of imbeciles was enough. I mean, think about that. That was the nadir of constitutional jurisprudence in the United States of America. We're not going to let that history repeat itself on this issue. History is going to frown upon this moment in time and the left's push to sterilize children. And again, that's why we're fighting so hard. Clearly, the Constitution provides no right to sterilize children with mental health problems.
Yeah, well, hopefully common sense prevails the day, as well as you and your efforts to defend this new law. We'll be watching it, and we'll be paying close attention to it. We look forward to having you back, hopefully after you can claim victory in this particular case.
Hey, look forward to talking again soon. All the best to you and your listeners.
Thank you. You as well. The Attorney General for the state of Missouri, Andrew Bailey. It's always interesting to me how we have these conversations surrounding this particular issue. Brad, when you are listening to them talk about how children know who they are and children are able to be in tune with their body and to understand that they're one gender. The idea that I would sit down with my 2-year-old and be discussing gender issues is ridiculous.
Yes.
We are blessing these children with the their own personal understanding of a gender system that grown adults don't even understand. We're saying that they know, that they have the ability to understand this about themselves. I'm wondering at what age and what point in the life cycle that children are to be granted with that understanding. Because we're also being told that a child isn't a worthwhile life until it's passed through the birth canal and exists outside in the open. And even in some places, we're saying, well, it's still kind of a choice that is available to the parents if they're a little nervous about it or whatever. I see California, that even then, or Virginia before Youngkin got elected. It makes me very curious to look at that circumstance and that situation and say, we are going to bestow upon our children the right and the confidence in their understanding of who they are at such a very young age, but we're not even going to identify them as humans until what point? Like, I need a timeline. I need a written timeline.
You're looking at me like I'm going to be able to give you this timeline for them. You can't.
I'm just hoping you're as mad as I am.
There's no consistency in this thinking. And no, a 5-year-old doesn't know what gender they are. They don't understand that concept. These are deep concepts that people have really only recently started looking into and saying, oh, maybe you can change your gender. Maybe you can be multiple genders. Maybe there's all this and other. Gender theory is something way too complicated for somebody even into high school.
These laws, too, are just essentially saying, they're not saying that you can't have your born son Matthew put on a dress and be Malia. They're saying that you can't change their body.
Right.
You're going to need to give it some more time. This is not about what adults can do with their bodies. This is about what adults can do to children's bodies.
Right.
And we should have a pretty definitive line on what is socially acceptable, what is medically acceptable, and what is morally acceptable. That should be across all standards, pretty obvious.
We have that on several different other areas of a child's life. You know, you're not allowed to smoke before you're 18 because of the damage it could do to your body. You're not allowed to drink before you're 21 because of the damage you can do to your body. And all these damages are irreversible. That's the same thing with gender, what do they call it? Gender affirming care or whatever. Puberty blockers are not irreversible. They say that they are, but you can't put a pause on natural development and then expect everything to go back the way it was. You just can't do it. It's not medically sound. It's not good science. It's not any of that. It's ideology foisted upon young people, and that's not fair to them.
It's scary. Interesting topic, and hopefully the state of Missouri is able to prevail on this, and the Attorney General as well. Also, I said Attorney Generals. It's Attorneys General, and I know that, and I regret my error. It's not it's the worst error I've made this week. It's not the worst error I made last week. It is what it is. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, our friend Steve Moore is going to join us to talk a little bit about Bidenomics and how that A-plus Gold Star program of Joe Biden, if you ask him, is treating the American people. Is this going to be the campaign speech that he's going to stump on to win re-election? Steve Moore on the Andy Frey Show when we come back.
And I feel awkward as I should. This club has got to be the most pretentious thing.
The Andy Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
Foley Dental Group, online at foleydentalgroup.com. You can call them at 618-288-9670, 618-288-9670. You have found the new place for yourself, for your significant other, for your family, where you can all go there and get the best dental care around in the bi-state region. People get on 270 and drive into Illinois to go to Foley Dental Group. They have a cast of amazing dentists there to help you through any dental care that you need. Haven't been in a long time, you're going to go there. Zero judgment. They're going to take care of you, clean your teeth, do the x-rays, and the equipment that they have to be able to show you what they are looking at. Even I can understand that. It's pretty impressive stuff. If you need an implant or dentures, if you have a missing tooth or an achy pain in your mouth, Foley Dental Group is going to be there to help you solve that problem. And if you also are looking for Invisalign, they can help you through that, and they have great opportunities for you to get into Invisalign and quickly. Foley Dental Group, 618-288-9670, online at foleydentalgroup.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to 20% on a new HVAC system when you bundle it with attic insulation. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Updating your home with James Hardie siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, Board and Batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free no-obligation consultation today. sidingexpress.com.
An online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands to treat ED at up to 95% off. That's right, the same active ingredient as the brand name for 95% less. It's the same ED medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Tired of constantly caring for a home exterior that doesn't look as good as it should? You deserve beautiful, low-maintenance James Hardie fiber cement siding. James Hardie gives you gorgeous colors, stands up to Missouri's harsh weather, and lasts decades. At Lakeside Renovation and Design, we're experts in installing America's #1 siding. And our lifetime workmanship warranty gives you peace of mind. Get a lovely, lasting home exterior with Lakeside Renovation and Design. Request a free consultation at 636-978-5000. That's 636-978-5000. And love your home all over again.
Mark Reardon sees clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Maholtred Ophthalmology Associates. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today. That's youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness 101 for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness 101. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Learn to make money 5 ways with rental real estate. Double your money with apartments. And get your map to financial freedom. And that map starts with a free workshop. Sign up now at lifestylesunlimited.com. Click on the Join Free Workshop tab and attend online or in person. That's lifestylesunlimited.com. Lifestylesunlimited.com. Again, that's lifestylesunlimited.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential.
We just spoke with Attorney General Andrew Bailey, and before that, we spoke with Bill Hemmer, and we were talking to Stephen Moore coming up next. Don't change that dial. The time is currently 1:45. This time check is brought to you by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, I'm asking you to save a life. I'm Mark Reardon, inviting you to join us for our annual blood drive in memory of Brett Bloom. Call 800-RED-CROSS or visit redcrossblood.org and use sponsor code KMOX.
They say love is more precious than gold. It can't be bought and it can't be sold. I got love.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I got a woman with eyes that shine.
Bidenomics, not great. You have an economy that is still faltering. And one of the things we have to be on the watch out for, Stuart, is the way they measure GDP. Government spending counts as a plus for GDP. So these massive spending projects, green projects they have in the pipeline that they're going to be shoveling out money for, will artificially make the economy look better than it is, even though it's draining resources from the private sector and ultimately hurting the economy long term.
Americans understand completely that Bidenomics isn't working, and yet Joe Biden is out there pushing and pushing and pushing that it is. It's the best thing to ever happen. What is bad to Joe Biden? Well,
his America First policy, walking away from the rest of the world, has made us weaker, not stronger.
America First makes us weaker, not stronger? How could you have, by definition, something that is like, we're going to do what's best for America first, and then end up having it turn out to make America weaker in the end? It's hard to believe. It's hard to look at the direction that this economy is going and to conjoin that with Biden's tour around. I mean, the word Bidenomics is on a banner behind the president when he's going to make these speaking engagements. Do you believe he's really proud of Bidenomics?
Joe Biden? Yeah, I think he is. I think he thinks it's great because I don't think he really understands what's going on. I don't think he understands the pinch that everyday Americans are feeling. He doesn't have to go to the gas station to fill up his vehicle. He doesn't have to go to the grocery store to buy stuff. He doesn't fill that up. Are you kidding me? They probably don't let him drive that out of his driveway. As a matter of fact, are presidents even allowed to drive anymore, or don't they always have to be driven by Secret Service?
I think they have to be driven. I don't know. I think I remember.
That's a deal breaker. I'm never running for president.
Oh, yeah. It's hard. It's hard to see the disconnect. And the more that they push it, I said this last week, but I think the Democrat Party knows that Bidenomics is not making people happy. I think that the Democrat Party understands that the current economic situation isn't really in the best interest of the middle class. We've heard them say out loud multiple times, essentially, this is what you have to do in order to make our policies possible. I mean, this is your part.
Yeah.
More money in the government's pocket from you, because remember, the government makes no money. They only take money. They take your money. They're open about the idea that your part of the pie, your piece of the pie, you don't get to eat it until you give it. You have to put in to the federal government, to the state government, to your local government. You have to pay because that's your part. And in many cases, it really boils down to the climate change conversation, that this is your part in, I mean, imagine coming up with some sort of circumstance. It has to be big, Brad. It has to be bold enough that everybody goes, I don't have a choice but to get behind this. The stakes are too high. What could possibly get everybody, as many people as possible, behind the idea of we're gonna have to sacrifice. It's gonna hurt a little bit, but we have to do it. Why? What could be the end of the world?
Yeah, you got to give them a cause to rally around. And so that's the argument, right? That's what everybody's trying to say. They're just out there trying to say, hey, look, if you played the clip of Kennedy earlier, if you spend $50 trillion, we can fix this.
Not supposed to ask those questions.
Yeah, well, how much will it fix it? We can't say.
They'd have to control what China and India and any of these other high-producing emissions companies are. We'd have to be able to control what they're doing. We're not going to control what we're doing. In fact, those economies are going to go, look at what the United States is doing. Here's our opportunity. Pedal to the metal. And they have, and they are, and they're going to continue to. So you manufacture something that is believable enough that you can get the American people to support it enough. The grift is real. It's massive. How many of these people profiting off of the idea of climate change? And I'm not here to say that the climate isn't changing. I'm kind of a believer in the fact that the climate is always changing. How many people who have made any dollars off of the climate change grift have a house on the ocean, fly private, own multiple vehicles that are likely gas-guzzling vehicles? How many of these people don't live the lifestyle that they are thrusting upon you, and they are not only not sacrificing their time, they are making even more money off of it to buy more oceanfront property in Arizona. That's a song. I don't understand how people can't combine the action that they see with their own eyes with the ask that is coming from the same people and go, I'm not buying it. I'm not saying that everything that you're articulating scientifically about the climate, about the world, about our environment, I'm not saying that it's all bologna sausage, but I'm saying I'm not buying your version of it because you are not following your own advice and you're making money off of it. You instill panic. You instill fear in people. They vote based out of fear for policies that you somehow or another likely profit off of, and then you fly your private jet to your oceanfront or islandfront property. I don't see how more people don't see it. I remember watching an investor, and I can't remember his name, but he was doing a panel about how climate change is a huge, huge grift. And his point was, when you look at the oceanfront property being sold on the Florida coastline, there's no insurance clause that says like, oh, this is going to be washed away in 10 years.
Yeah, there's nothing in the insurance rider that is like, if the property goes underwater because of global warming, our policy is null and void. If it were serious, that would be in there.
If the insurance companies are going to want to insure them to insulate themselves from the obvious calamity that is upon us, if you believe the AOCs of the world, I mean, we are like 5 years into a 10-year warning here. Is everybody panicking? The answer is no. Everybody isn't panicking. But we're supposed to understand that the cost of doing business in a climate change aware world is going to be expensive, and this is going to be your part. And the Inflation Reduction Act was essentially a climate change bill. And the money that they told you they were going to invest, the spending that they were going to invest in reducing inflation, was actually to invest in combating climate change. And inflation still exists in your grocery cart at the tune of 20%. The biggest gift to the Republican Party in 2024 is Joe Biden still struggling out to get in front of a podium and taking on the Democratic nomination. The idea that this is the 4 years of existence that Americans want for themselves is Biden-Harris, and that they would go, yeah, I'll take 4 more years of this. I would vote for a potato before I would vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Maybe that's my loyalty pledge. The YouTube live chat poll for today is, do you support the loyalty pledge requirement to debate? Yes or no? Would love to know what you think about this. We want comments that we can feature on the air and weigh in on this from your perspective, not just ours. KK says, no, I do not support the pledge. Not anymore, which is kind of an interesting take there. Christopher says, loyalty pledge, what is this, middle school dating? Circle yes if you support me. Signed GOP. I'm going to guess that he was a nay on that poll there. Amy said, I would like the GOP to sign a loyalty pledge to me, us, the Republican voters. Yes, I agree with that. And Amy, as I was saying earlier, I mean, Brad, do you kind of feel the same way in that is the GOP supporting Trump? Will they support Trump? Do you feel like that you would like more messaging from the Republican Party against what the Justice Department is doing to Donald Trump?
I think I would, not just from individuals, but from the GOP, the campaign or the party as a whole. Strong messages about this is not what we stand for. This is not what we do in the United States. This is political persecution. Come out and say it. Put a gigantic spotlight on it.
And say, we need somebody in the Oval Office who's willing to fight back against it. Period. You don't have to say it needs to be Trump, it can't be Trump, but push back against it. Mark says, I would not sign a loyalty pledge. I want the best person for the job, and if it is not a GOP member, why drink the punch? That's an interesting take, Mark. Let us know what you think by going to the Annie Frey YouTube channel in the live chat portion of today's live broadcast. Vote. Do you support the loyalty pledge requirement to debate? Yes or no? We'll continue to read your thoughts on the issue as we continue. Don't go away.
Do you have 3 three ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Andrea's steak sauce is famous because it was made in 1978 at Andrea's restaurant, which is still around. You should go to Andrea's restaurant, Andrea's Steakhouse, if you've never been there, and have the greatest steak of your life. If you have an event coming up, that's a great time to do it. And I don't just mean if you're planning a wedding, that's fine too. But if you have a birthday, like I do in September, that's where I'm going to go, or an anniversary coming up, great place to go is Andrea's because the food is amazing. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to undersell the food. But the atmosphere is just as great. It's not a typical restaurant in a mini mall. It's almost like a cottage up on a hill on its own. It is experience even just walking up to the doors of Andrea's. So if you've never been there, you should definitely make that a destination for you soon. Go to Andreas.com. You can not only get their gift cards or their menu online there, but you can make a reservation request as well ahead of time. So pick your date and go to Andreas.com.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard. Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks? Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long. And with Babbel, it isn't hard. It's perfect.
And now, try Babbel free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A tropical storm warning for parts of Texas. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The National Hurricane Center says a fast-moving disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico is expected to become a tropical storm before hitting South Texas early tomorrow. They're warning of a flash flooding risk into Wednesday with several inches of rain possible. The tropical storm warning runs from the mouth of the Rio Grande to Port O'Connor, Texas. Right now, that system is more than 400 miles east-southeast of Port Mansfield. This as parts of the Southwest recover from Tropical Storm Hillary, which hit Southern California yesterday, breaking rainfall records.
We will approach our recovery with the same intensity as we approached our preparation.
Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass says utility workers are working to restore power as damage assessments begin. The remnants of Hillary are moving north, with multiple western states still under flood alerts. Meantime, Tropical Storm Franklin heading for Hispaniola, now about 275 miles south of the Dominican Republic's capital, Santo Domingo. A new Georgia law limiting gender-affirming care for minors is partially blocked by a federal judge.
The new law, in effect since July, bans any new patients from under 18 from starting hormone therapy. It also bans most gender-affirming surgeries for transgender people under 18. The decision from District Court Judge Sarah Garrity stops the state from enforcing a ban on doctors prescribing hormone therapy to minors until further court order or trial.
Fox's CJ Papa. Georgia is one of at least 20 states with limits or bans on transgender care, with most being challenged in court. Just getting word that the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of San Francisco has filed for bankruptcy, aiming to use the Chapter 11 filing to facilitate a settlement for about 500 lawsuits accusing the church in San Francisco of enabling child sex abuse. America is listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's all about the summer bake this afternoon and all week long. Sunny, hot, and humid. 99 for the high today. Heat index between 4 and 5 o'clock this afternoon, 115. Tonight, clear and humid. 90s for evening plans. 78 for the low. Tuesday, sunny, hot, and humid. 100 degrees Tuesday afternoon. Do that again on Wednesday. This heat takes us right through Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-399-9407 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-399-9407. That's 800-399-9407. What do you have to lose? Call 800-399-9407. Again, 800-399-9407.
I am excited to be going back to Midwest Wing Fest in Fairview Heights again this year. I'm going to be there on September 1st, which is a Friday, in the VIP tent, and I need you to get your tickets to come join me and hang out with me. But the event is both Friday and Saturday. You will love Midwest Wing Fest. First of all, if you're a chicken wing lover, you are going to enjoy all of the different opportunities to try and taste a whole bunch of different kinds of chicken wings. But also, this is really for a fantastic cause. When you support Midwest Wing Fest, you are supporting local people who have served in our military, who have sacrificed greatly. It's all part of the deal at Midwest Wing Fest. When you go online to MidwestWingFest.com, you can learn more about it. You can also get your tickets there. There are all kinds of food, delicious wings, plenty of drinks, fantastic live music, and a massive kids area. It is kid friendly. Bring the family, but get your tickets that Friday afternoon, or Friday evening, I should say, for the VIP tent, and come hang out with me. I want to see you and say hi, and let's hang out and have wings and drinks and fun together. Go to MidwestWingFest.com/events.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. Some are items like garden hoses, pool toys, and lawn chairs are not recyclable and best donated to charity. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Long summer days call for extra hands. Hire fast with Indeed. Their hiring solution helps attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Tony La Russa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet, first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
This is where real local and national accountability happens. This is 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis's home for conservative talk. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're grateful for you to join us this Monday afternoon. The GOP debate is this week, Wednesday. We're having a GOP debate watch party. And are there still spots available?
Today is it. I've been told by the powers that be that you have to sign up today, and then they're closing it after today.
They're closing it after today.
After today. So you
when
can still
is today? Like
sign up
now?
right now?
Sign up now?
I don't know if it's now, or if it's later now. You know, is it now or is it
When will then
now?
be now?
Soon.
What do people need to do?
Go to 971talk.com/events and sign up. It's completely free. We just need you to sign up, and you do have to do it now. Now.
I thought you were going to just say panic.
And you do have to panic.
It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that
Yeah.
evening, that event. Let's talk about the absence of Donald Trump from the stage.
Okay.
Net positive, net negative for the country.
Negative for the country. I don't know about the man. We can talk about that separately, but I think that it would benefit all of us to see him up there making his case. Now, I will say that I've seen people defend him not being there, not just strategically, because I get strategically that it might make sense for him to do that. But they're saying, you know what, the man is in the unique position of having been president for 4 years. He's interviewing for a job. What better interview do you have than having already been the president? I don't necessarily agree with that, but I do get that point. And he's the front runner. I still think that he's got to come and make his case, because if he were the only candidate for the job, that's one thing. He's not this time. In 2020, he kind of was. This time, he's not. So he's still got to win that job back.
Brad?
Net win for the country with him not there?
Or loss.
Or loss. Ooh, that's tough. I think that it's a net loss for the country for him to not be there. I think that, like what Ryan was saying, I think that the country deserves to hear his side of it, and I wish that he would come out and say it. We talked about this a lot earlier. If your argument is going to be they are persecuting me and whatnot, then maybe come out and get your behind in front of the people that
watch your language.
The people that I was talking about that really don't know what's going on, and start doing it. This is your chance. This isn't going to be CNN. It's not going to be hostile in that sense. This is going to be your chance to get your voice heard and to make your case about why the DOJ is actually persecuting you and why you're not actually guilty of what they're accusing you of.
Net win.
Oh, here we go. Let's hear it, contrarian. This is just what you do. You're just a contrarian.
No, this was my question. I had the answer before I asked the question, so you're the contrarian.
I think you were waiting to hear what we would say, and then you were just going to say the opposite.
The first part's true. And well, the second part is true, but not because that was predetermined based on your answers. I say this confidently because I've said this before. If Donald Trump is not on the stage, this is going to be the first opportunity for the Republican Party to make their case on policy, on a lot of different issues, without the Trump distraction. And I say this with the understanding that while all of those candidates are making the case about what Republicans have to offer, Donald Trump, who is the heir apparent to the nomination, who's probably still going to get it, is going to get the benefit of those policies being discussed as a Republican alternative to what's going on right now in this country. I think that it's crap that he's not going to be there, but I completely understand why he's not. I completely understand the politics behind saying, no, I don't need to participate in this. And I do think it is a risk on his part. I think it's a bigger risk on his part than maybe people are considering. But Donald Trump, he has a huge opportunity, should he go be there, to prove to people he's not the guy that the concerned Republican voters think that he is. He has the opportunity to prove them wrong. But he's not going to do it because that's not what he does. And if you're going to vote for the guy who made America great again in slogan and in practicality, when the choice comes down to Donald Trump or Joe Biden, you're voting against your own interests if you vote for Joe Biden, or if you don't vote for the Republican nominee. That's just the facts of the matter. However, nobody is having a substantive discussion about what the Republican Party stands for. As a Republican, I'm kind of curious what the Republican Party says that they stand for, and what the person who will eventually be the nominee, he or she, what they are going to say is their priority when it comes to policy, and it comes to the southern border, and when it comes to how we would deal with Ukraine. We had Bill Hemmer on at 1225. Interesting conversation with him. You can rewind on the Odyssey app. But he talked about, we should be discussing what's going on in Ukraine with all of that money. We should really be talking about that. And I'm like, Bill Hemmer, if you know anybody.
Yeah.
I think that he's exactly right about that. We should be having conversations with our nominees, with our candidates, about whether or not that this is a smart expenditure of taxpayer dollars. Because maybe it is, but we're not having a debate about it. Everything is about Hunter Joe Biden and Donald Trump. All of those things are hugely important. But the election has to be about more than just that. And those conversations, the Trump indictments, 91 felony charges or whatever it is, the news this weekend over how, I think that they discovered the BFF bracelets that David Weiss and the Biden family were wearing. I think that the braided bracelets with the 3 letters BFF, they found those this weekend, and they're quickly trying to put them in a box next to a Corvette to be found 20 years later. I'm looking forward to seeing these Republican candidates up on the stage have a conversation that isn't surrounded by Donald Trump. Will he be a part of the conversation? Of course he will. But he will be less a part of the conversation in his absence.
Okay. Question for you. Pop quiz, hot shot.
I need to know how you answer it first before I answer it.
Okay, I will answer it
Did
first.
you call me a hot shot?
Yeah, I did. It's from a movie. Dennis Hopper.
Hot shots?
No. Oddly enough, no. I think, was that Speed?
It was Speed, yeah.
Keanu Reeves?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Keanu Reeves, but he's not saying it. Dennis Hopper is saying
Do you know what Sandra Bullock's name is in that movie?
Claire?
Annie.
I
think.
I just said a name.
I think it's Annie.
Is this a chance? Here's the question. Is this a chance for a real alternative to Donald Trump to emerge?
Yes, it's the chance. It's the chance.
If it doesn't happen Wednesday, is it going to happen?
It depends on what Trump does for the next debate. People are saying that this debate is to figure out who Donald Trump's VP is going to be. The idea that the vice presidential candidate is on a debate stage running for president is not likely.
Right.
I am going to fall over dead for 7 minutes if he picks Kari Lake.
You're going to keep getting back up and falling down?
No,
That's a long
I'm going to take 7 minutes off.
That's a very slow
I'm taking
fall.
7 minutes, and I'm throwing in the towel, and then I'll get back up.
7 minutes in heaven. That is a long, slow
It will feel
fall
like
down.
7 minutes in hell. Can you think of I mean, I don't know, maybe you're a Trump Lake. I'm a real fan.
I'm not really.
I'm a real fan of Donald Trump and Byron Donalds, because then the signs would say Trump Donalds.
I don't get it. Explain.
What's Donald Trump's first name?
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Trump, but it's not Donald's. It's not plural.
Byron Donalds' his name. It's funny. I'll draw a picture later so you can go, oh, that is kind of funny.
I get it.
Byron Donalds is not bad either, but all of the good people can't come from Florida. We got to find one somewhere else. I think it's going to be Kristi Noem. Do you have first answer the Kari Lake thing?
I don't think it would be smart for him to do.
Wouldn't it be a disaster?
If she had won, then maybe.
Imagine
if she's not in the office.
Imagine what happens to the Republican Party if Trump Lake loses.
It's complete 2023 Cardinals rebuild. Yeah. Here's the thing, though, is if Trump picks somebody like Kristi Noem, for instance, who I think that is a very good possibility. If he does, then the party actually could coalesce around somebody like Kristi Noem afterwards.
I also think John James of Michigan is a smart choice. He's a Republican congressman. He has run for Senate. He has served in the military. He's a young family man, and I think he would be fantastic.
He's good with media, too, isn't he?
He's great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's Michigan.
Yeah.
There has to be some sort of intellectual choice. I don't think that you go into the Kari Lake, Arizona, and be like, let's win Arizona. She didn't win Arizona. I mean, she thinks she did.
Well, yeah. That's why I say she's not in the office. Yeah, I don't know. This debate's going to be very strange because I like you said, I don't think that any of these people are going to be vice president. I just don't. Kamala Harris bucked that trend, but typically it's not anybody else that's on the stage for these things. But I do think that there is a real possibility that somebody could emerge from this coalescing the other 50%. But that is exactly what has to happen with this debate for there to be a real challenge to Trump. Otherwise, it's just going to be fractured like it is.
Kari Lake, vice president?
No.
No.
Yeah, you need to win Arizona to win the presidency. And
well, people say the same thing about Trump.
Well, I look at this and I just go, oh, man, I feel like the people of Arizona don't like her. They don't like her. They rejected her. You know, if they don't like her there, that's not good for your campaign. If they don't even like her in her home state.
She's a fighter, which is why people liked her. That's why I liked her. And she was able to fight back in the same way that Chris Christie would do.
I liked that about her.
Yeah, somebody throw a question at her that was stupid, and she just to destroy them.
Yeah.
And that's great. That is a necessary component to a political candidate these days because you get so many stupid questions. But since the election, I don't think she's gained anybody. She's fighting, and I don't do your thing. But I just don't think.
But on your time, not mine.
As far as the messaging goes, I don't think that she's won. I don't think she's now more popular now than she was before the election.
Let's bring it all together.
Please.
I got it right here. Important states. There are 5 states that are going to decide this next election. There are people who have been hosed and screwed by the system. Donald Trump, Stacey Abrams.
On a ticket?
He'd win Georgia.
The problem is you'd vote for it, and then people would honestly just be calling for well, maybe gun control is not such a good idea, because they would be hoping that he would die.
I like it, but it has to turn into a reality show again that Trump can produce, and they always have to be in the same room.
You know what'd be amazing is if he did pick somebody random like that, and they completely turned on all their Democrat principles just for fame.
Just to be vice president.
Because you can see that happening. Going, you know what? I've rethought this whole thing.
Make America great again.
Yeah, right. I'm Stacey Abrams, MAGA.
Red hat.
If that happens, I'm down for it.
Is that a no? Is that a yes?
No, that's a yes. If she dons the hat, and I do mean dons, in light of Byron, if Stacey Abrams dons the MAGA hat.
Somebody just tuned in and they're like, this chick just suggested Trump Abrams? You're darn right I did. America would just quit and go to Canada. All right, Trudeau, what do you got?
Who would be more unlikely, Hillary or Kamala? That'd be the least likely.
I think Kamala's the most likely.
To flip?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm going to get on this boat now.
Yeah, wait, I get to be vice president again, and then we could 25th Amendment him? Yes, I'm in.
Unbelievable. All right. So real quick, do you support the loyalty pledge requirement to debate, yes or no?
I do.
Actually. You do?
I do.
Brad?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I do.
I do in principle, but not in you have to sign this to get on the debate stage.
I get there's a lot of party stuff that I think is stupid, but this is one where you're going, look,
Like
if you want to be a
discos?
part of our party, the point is to get the nomination of the party, then you have to be loyal to the party. You can't just take your ball and go home if you don't win. Like that's kind of part of the agreement.
But what if part of your reason for running is to reform the party? I mean, if you look at Barack Obama, his promise was to fundamentally transform the United States of America. He was going to have to do things differently than had been done before.
Well, then you got to win the nomination if you're going to transform the party.
How do you win the nomination if you can't get on the stage if they say you have to do things our way?
You just sign it.
And lie.
All they
So you're
want,
saying you lie?
All they want is for you to not run as a third party if you're going to try to get the GOP nomination.
Well, then have that be the thing they
So
have to
either
sign.
go transform America
Then
by
say-
becoming a different party, or like become the Green Party, become the Forward Party, or whatever you're going to do. But if you want the GOP nomination, you got to at least say, I will support the nominee for the GOP.
But if you are going to not win the GOP nomination and go run third party, that would be. I mean, all I see is if Donald Trump wanted to be on the debate stage, him signing it and going, yeah, well, that's what I needed to get on the debate stage. I wasn't going to be able to get my message to the American people if I didn't sign it, but this party is jacked and I need to fix the America. I'm not going to abide by some signature on a piece of paper for a party I signed up for that isn't the party that it said it was. Boom, done. He's third party. I mean,
yeah, I don't think that it has any legal merit, does it?
No.
So
No,
it doesn't really
nobody's
matter.
suggesting that it has legal merit. I just think that the idea that a party would be out there requiring you to sign something, I'm more interested in if the GOP is going to be loyal to the person that the people choose than vice versa.
Oh, I can't imagine them not. I think regardless of who it is.
I think that they are missing an opportunity right now to stand up for Trump.
I do too.
In a big way, which is my point.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break. More Annie Frey Show around the corner. You tell us what you think. Do you support the loyalty pledge requirement to debate, yes or no? You can go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We're broadcasting live right now. Leave your vote and your comment in the chat. We'll be back in a few minutes.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Shopping for jewelry, I want you to introduce yourself to the Diamond Shop in Clayton. If you've been there, then you already know this family-owned and operated business in this beautiful store in Clayton is what you've been looking for, the guidance that you need. If you have a little know-how when it comes to the jewelry department, you're going to understand very quickly how much they know. If you are like me when you walk in and you don't know much anything about it, they're going to guide you in a completely elitist kind of way to make sure that they understand where your budget is and how they can help you get that piece that you've been looking for. Also, when it comes to customizations, the Diamond Shop can help get you to that piece that maybe they don't have in store in stock. Maybe it's something you've dreamt of or come up with yourself, something very special for someone in your life. They are going to be able to help you execute that plan, and you are going to be very grateful to know that the Diamond Shop is on your side. They're located in Clayton. They've been serving St. Louis since 1910, and they're waiting for you to come by and say hello. Mention the Annie Frey Show when you stop by. You can become a VIP by signing up on their website right now by going to thediamondshop.net.
Ah, summer. Time to head to the pool, hit the links, and enjoy some Cardinals baseball.
And this one is going to leave the yard. A home run for Goldie. Oh, did he crush it?
With the free Odyssey app, you can stream every Cardinals game on News Radio 1120 KMOX, no matter what you're doing this summer.
Safe, a double steal for O'Neill and Walker.
Get in the game and download the free Odyssey app today. That's AUDACY.
Back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
This planet is so incredibly beautiful that I can't get enough of it. I did 950 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and Good Feet was with me all the way. Your passion's important, but if your body aches and if your heel feels like you've got a nail stuck in it and won't come out, trust me, it's going to wear you down. The Good Feet store knew what they were talking about and took the time to really dial in what I needed. I hiked 84 miles in the Himalaya and to do it pain-free. You think I'm not grateful for Good Feet?
Get ready for your summer adventures. Come to the Good Feet store today.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Deerberg's.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. You deserve comfort in your life. Come in for your free test walk today.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Hello, everybody. I'm John Rooney. Do you have an old car that's taking up room in the driveway? Repairs are costly and selling is a hassle? That's why you should donate it to Goodwill. Donating is quick and towing is free. Plus, you get a tax receipt and 4 tickets to a Cardinals game, compliments of the St. Louis Cardinals. That's a win-win. For more information or to donate, visit online at mersgoodwill.org. Must mention Cardinals.
There are a lot of smart business people out there making smart decisions by getting Rhino Shield. The latest one, the Central Illinois Care Services, they have decided to go with Rhino Shield on the outside of their building so they won't have to worry about maintenance from now on. The list is long. Joe's Tire out in Sullivan, Stonehill Wineries in Herman. They've all got Rhino Shield on their buildings. You can have it on your business or your house. Just call 877-25-RHINO. Let Darren come out and give you a free estimate as to what it would cost to get this great product on your home. 25-year transferable warranty, 100% waterproof, 8 to 10 times thicker than paint. And as a satisfied customer, 15 years in, I can tell you it looks as good as the day they put it on. You're going to love Rhino Shield. Call them right now. Tell them you heard about it on the Mark Cox Morning Show. Again, 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Summer's just getting started. Still need your air conditioner checked? Schedule your HVAC system check for only $54. This is a limited time offer. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Keeping you connected and aware.
In the world, the country, and the community.
And offering more ways than ever to listen conveniently. Tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 FM Talk or download the Odyssey app. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We appreciate you being here with us. A reminder to vote in today's YouTube live chat poll. Do you support the loyalty pledge requirement to debate on Wednesday? Yes or no? That is the requirement. In order to get on the stage, you have to, as a candidate, meet a few requirements, and one of them is you have to promise to support whomever the GOP nominee eventually is. So that was something that was put into place. Donald Trump was not willing to sign it. He will not be debating unless something dramatically changes between now and Wednesday. I doubt that it will. He's going to be doing an interview, at least this is what I was hearing this weekend with Tucker at the time. That's the smartest thing I've ever heard. Who are the 2 people who would like to stick it to Fox at 8 o'clock on Wednesday?
Yeah.
Trump and Tucker.
Yep.
And he's probably the biggest draw alternative draw in media, and Trump is the biggest draw in politics. So the question will be, what is Tucker legally allowed to do in that moment, because he has a lot of restrictions due to his non-compete with Fox.
Yeah. Is he following any of that, though? I mean, some of these episodes he's released, he hasn't really done them much recently, so maybe that's the reason why.
What are you talking about?
The Twitter episodes that he's done.
Yeah, he's doing them.
Is he still doing them all the time?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen
He
them.
just did one really long one with Vivek.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah,
so
he's not pulled back
so
at
he's
all.
still out there doing this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not as if he's afraid to do content. I can't imagine he would back down then.
No, I'm pretty sure that afraid is not in his vocabulary.
Yeah.
He is fierce, and for him to go in and do something like that's kind of an ironic thing, because Twitter was not listed, from what I recall. Twitter was not listed as something in his non-compete, so he has been doing his show on Twitter. But for Donald Trump to go on Twitter instead of Truth Social, Donald Trump actually has limitations as to what he can do on Twitter due to his ownership and involvement in Truth Social. So there has to be somewhere where these two circles intersect, where there is a place where they can do something. And I don't know what it would be specifically. And I would also assume that if they announce it too early, that would give lawyers too much time to cease and desist.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of that, because it'll probably be. How much do you think the debate itself, will they focus on attacking Trump, or do you think they'll attack each other more?
Who's they?
The candidates.
I don't think that the candidates are going to do. I think Chris Christie is going to make his entire presence be about Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the only time that we will see candidates directly going after Trump is in debate with Chris Christie. So I think that there are going to be people who are going to want to appeal to the Trump supporter by pushing back on things that Chris Christie says, so they can be, in appearance, advocates of Donald Trump's on the stage. And Chris Christie, is Chris Christie going to have to do any defense of Donald Trump? Is there any way Chris Christie can be on the stage and be like, Donald Trump deserves everything he's getting? Because that's not going to do him any favors. I don't know that he's actually trying to be the president of the United States, though. I think that his presence is more offense to take out Donald Trump to clear the runway for other people to take off. Maybe not. But I don't. Ron DeSantis needs to show people who Ron DeSantis is, and he has not had a single opportunity to do that outside of the presence of Donald Trump's paid-for perception of him.
Mm-hmm.
Is a huge opportunity to do that. The biggest question I have about the debate is, will those candidates turn their ire towards Joe Biden? Will they turn their ire towards Donald Trump because he's the guy who they have to beat in order to get the nomination? Or will they turn their ire towards Ron DeSantis because Ron DeSantis is number one of them?
Right.
And it's all paths to victory go through Donald Trump. So do you attack Donald Trump? Do you attack who you're trying to beat in the general? Or do you attack Ron DeSantis, who is the guy you have to beat to get to the guy who you have to beat, to get to the guy you have to beat?
Yeah. It seems to me like the eyeballs will be on DeSantis most to see if he attacks Donald Trump or if he focuses on Biden. I think what I'm most interested about in watching this debate on Wednesday night with you all is how much difference is there between these candidates on policy? Because we do want to see a lot of policy talk. We want to see what they're going to do to make things better. How much difference between the candidates is there?
Ideas and suggestions on how to answer problems that Americans are facing. For instance, student loan debt repayments, I think, are supposed to start up in the next week. This is going to be on the minds of a lot of Americans. Do you acknowledge the fact that we have a student loan debt problem? Do you acknowledge the fact that we have an enormous credit card debt problem right now? And that credit card debt problem has grown exponentially because of things like Bidenomics, where everything costs more. Bidenomics gets put into play to fund things like climate change that a lot of those voters don't believe in to the extent that the Democrats are asking you to. And yes, you have to talk to voters out there who do have student loan debts that they can't get ahead of and start making payments on because they're paying 20% more for their grocery bill right now. Like, these are actual issues that everyday Americans are facing. And the Democrats' solution to this is, well, the government will pay for it. Well, news freaking flash, that's your money that the government is using to pay for the bills that you can't pay for. So you're not going to be able to pay for the general things that you need because you're getting less money in your paycheck because that money is coming out of your paycheck to go to the government to pay for the bills that you say you can't pay for. And that is a vicious circle. Those are real issues that Americans are facing. And those are things that the Republicans have not had the luxury to talk about yet. And you have 8 people on the stage, 7.5 people, whatever you're saying, like reporting.
Yeah.
If you have that many people on the stage, I'd like to hear at least 3 or 4 different ideas of how you could address it. I know that years ago, probably almost 8 years ago now, Marco Rubio had a plan that allowed you to buy out years of withdrawing on Social Security and use that as a way to pay down the student loan debt that you had. So if you could take Social Security at 65, maybe you take it at 70 instead. And that buys you for every year that you pushed back, you got like $5,000. Don't quote me on this, but it's something like that. So if you had $30,000 of debt, you'd need to push back Social Security 6 years. Well, we got a Social Security problem we're going to have to be facing too when all the boomers are drawing on the Social Security they've paid in for, and the millennials, the Gen Xers and the millennials, which are a much smaller generation than the baby boomers, are not going to be able to sustain that thing for there to be anything left when it comes time for us to get in there and draw on the money that we have paid into it. Yes, boomers, I know you've paid into it. I'm not saying you don't deserve it. I'm just saying that the generations that are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, this is why I had 4 kids. Just trying to repopulate the earth. We've got real questions that we have to face. And people aren't talking about that because we're talking about 91 felony charges against the opponent of the current person who's in charge, which when that happened in Trump's presidency, they impeached him.
I just wonder if any of that's even going to break through because we'll obviously be paying very close attention to it. We'll be covering it after the debate, of course, too. But does a policy question about Social Security make it to the voters it's intended to?
I'm interested in seeing how Fox News handles it because it will be their responsibility to direct the course of conversation. Do they want it to be about Trump? Do they want everything to be about Trump? Do they want nothing to be about Trump? And I can tell you right now that whichever way it goes, if they never mention Trump at all, the Trump people are going to be incensed that he was never mentioned. If they only talk about him and he wasn't there, they're going to be incensed at the fact that all of these people should just drop out right now because their chance to talk on a debate stage about issues was all about Trump, so they should just drop out right now. Like I can pre-plan the talking points and would, if I were working for the Trump organization, I would be telling them this is what you should say if it happens this way, if it happens that way. That's politics. As a voter, as a mother, as somebody who's working my tail off along with my husband to try to make money so that we can live a comfortable life in this country. And it is literally, I can tell it's getting more difficult for my family to do that. I want change. And I want the person who's going to make it happen to get in there, period.
I will say one thing, that the benefit that the GOP has, Republicans have going into 2024 is in a sense that they are doing debates and Joe Biden is not, because there's always a post-convention bump. You know, when they get the week of airtime, each party gets a little bit of bump out of it. I think that this might actually do that. You know, this is a live event that'll happen throughout the nation. Everybody will know that it had happened. And even if they don't pay super close attention to it, something's going to happen that they will pay attention to. It may give them a little bit of bump every time they have one of these.
Well, it has to be something like what Annie was saying, where they're hitting the issues that Americans are facing. Because at the end of the day, people go home and they look at their finances. They go, what is going on here? And how can we change the course? Because I forget what we said. It was up. Inflation was something like 16% since Joe Biden took office. And real wages in general just haven't caught up to that. So people are going, my money isn't worth what it was. And I didn't do anything different and I didn't do anything wrong. And that's not fair to me. If they can make the point, hey, we can fix this, we can get this country back on track, then yeah, you're right. They'll get a bump. If it's all about Trump's indictments, I don't see them getting that bump.
If Trump were on the stage, it would be all about Trump's indictments. It'd be the only thing that would be talked about. And while I politically completely understand why Trump isn't going to be on the stage, I will reiterate what I said earlier. His absence is going to allow substance to be discussed on behalf of the American people with these candidates who want to make a change for the country, a dramatic, drastic change. All of those arguments that are going to be made on that debate stage will also benefit Donald Trump because he stands for the Republican Party. And I really doubt that many of the conversations and policies that are going to be put out there from these other candidates, they're not going to be that far of a departure from what Donald Trump would do himself. And if you look into Donald Trump's policies, heck, if you look at the scoreboard from Donald Trump's presidency, that's an easy one. So I'm looking forward to hearing it. I know people are in the industry are like, gosh, Donald Trump and the ratings, if he were just there. And I'm saying, I think this is better for the country. But only because Ryan said it would be worse.
I'll just say, I'll change my mind and see what you do.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying.
Yeah, just wrong.
You're just wrong.
Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Do you support the loyalty pledge requirement to debate? Yes or no? We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
So I'm looking right now at the forecast, and it says there's an excessive heat warning, and it says it's 90 degrees outside, and the real feel is a toasty 114 degrees. I really hope your air conditioner is working well right now, because if you're not in your comfort zone inside, indoors, you are in a lot of trouble. A reminder to check on your loved ones right now, because if you have people who are maybe elderly or might not be able to identify issues that they might be dealing with with their air conditioner, if it's not working under these extremely hot circumstances, Air Comfort Service wants you to check on your loved ones. I want you to check on your loved ones. Make sure that everything is working the way it's supposed to be. If it's not and you need to call somebody out, you're going to want to call people you can trust. And Air Comfort Service is there to be that person for you. I've called them multiple times to replace the whole HVAC system in my home. They've done an AeroSeal duct sealing. They replaced the water heater. They're trustworthy people. For yourself, for your loved ones, if you're looking to take care of air conditioning issues, especially while this excessive heat wave is here, call Air Comfort Service. You'll be glad you did. 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. AirComfortService.com.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with TrueHold. TrueHold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And TrueHold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since TrueHold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit TrueHold.com and discover how much TrueHold will buy your home for today, based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's TrueHold.com.
If you need a new bath or shower, call my friends at Bath Fitter of St. Louis. Mark Cox here. We love our new shower and tub enclosure. It looks fantastic. No demolition, no mess, and a lifetime guarantee. Right now, they're having a sale for 20% off up to $1,000 or zero interest until 2028. That's 5 years. Call 636-338-1648. That's 636-338-1648. Bath Fitter of St. Louis.
St. Louis physician Dr. Abicki created Neovitin 15 years ago to help support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Since then, Neovitin has helped thousands of people support their daily nutrition with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Abicki's proprietary blend. If you're ready to join many St. Louisans in supporting their nutrition, give Neovitin a try. You can find Neovitin at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-399-9407 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-399-9407. That's 800-399-9407. What do you have to lose? Call 800-399-9407. Again, 800-399-9407.
The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, The Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
Listen to The Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
The YouTube live chat poll for the day. Do you support the loyalty pledge requirement to debate? Yes or no? Let us know. We'll give you the results here in just a couple minutes. The time is 2:47. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Greg Keller, he's a Republican consultant, the founder of Atlas Strategy Group. I don't blame those shopkeepers at all for not interceding and chasing these people. You know why? Because the cops aren't even allowed to chase these people.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Guns N' Roses?
You're close. I'm going to give you a hint.
Runs and Hoses?
Nope. Nope. No runs. No runs here.
Van Halen.
Nope.
AC/DC.
What is Seal's most famous song?
Crazy.
No, it's not.
Kiss from a Rose.
Yep, you got it.
Kiss.
Yep. You got it.
Seal.
It is Seal. Good job.
Plume. Wait. AC/DC? No,
you
it's
got it.
Kiss.
Yeah, you got it. You already got it. Don't mess it up now.
I want, if you're not watching the YouTube live, how that happened was the song started playing. I'm like, oop, not one that I know. And I just looked over at Ryan, and he looked at me, and I just shrugged. I was like, I don't know.
I knew you didn't know.
No,
I was looking at you waiting.
I know the song.
Well, that doesn't take much.
It takes a little.
Do you have an opinion on Kiss now that you know it's Kiss?
I think that the lead singer is kind of a conservative.
Is he?
Is he the one who has a star in his face? Do they all do that?
No. I can't remember. Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons has the bat wings on his face.
Ace Frehley.
Gene Simmons is of a conservative lean.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, there was a couple members of them that came out pretty heavily.
Yeah, you got to come out of that closet.
Came out against the transgender surgeries for children.
Yeah.
Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley, Peter Criss, and Gene Simmons.
Chris says, I think she calls everyone she doesn't know as AC/DC. I think it's Guns N' Roses more than it's AC/DC.
Well, and Van Halen.
AC and DC.
You just yell out three bands.
Is this AC and DC?
You go.
Oh,
Van
no.
Halen, AC/DC.
Just
Guns N'
stop
Roses?
what you're doing right now and put on Casey. I get it. Fine.
I
You
don't
need a cleanse.
I ask you that question because I don't really like Kiss that much.
Out of the utmost respect for people who lived this age and experienced this, and this is your music, I completely understand it. I completely respect it. It all sounds exactly the same to me. People who don't like country listen to country and cannot discern between country artists and country songs.
It doesn't sound exactly the same to you because you recognize the song. If they all sounded the same, you wouldn't even know what song it was because that's what country sounds like to me.
No, I know all of these. You can't not know some of these songs.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a differentiate. There's something between them.
The words. That's it.
Yeah, they're different words.
Yes, that's true.
That's fine.
But, sometimes when bands sing songs, they change the words from song to song, but it's still the same band.
I wouldn't mind hearing a band that never did that.
If you are listening to Kiss, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC,
Yeah.
I'm committing to it, guys. Do those bands to you guys all sound very different from one another?
Ooh, that's hard to say.
Yeah,
Because the answer is no?
AC/DC does to me because they are very hard, like Led Zeppelin blues rock. But the other bands, it's actually one of the reasons I don't
Led
love
Zeppelin
Kiss.
is a lot more like Southern blues rock, and I did not know that. Led Zeppelin to me sounds like a metal rock band name, and I'd be listening to something, and my husband judges me as hard as everybody here is judging me completely. I mean, brutally.
So.
He bullies me over my horrendous knowledge of this kind of music. I actually would say I'm a Led Zeppelin fan because it's more of a Southern blues rock kind of thing, and I love that, versus what I would call hardcore rock and roll. And maybe I just said something really stupid, and I don't know it, but that's how I understand it. And this is also how people vote.
You like what you would say that your favorite Led Zeppelin songs are like Hot Dog and Carousel Ambra.
Second favorite.
Okay.
Is that our song?
My
Seems like a weird name for a song.
My thing is like when you listen to these songs, genres are so close to one another that's why songs sound so similar, is because it's the same genre. So I can listen to, like, I can tell a Van Halen song apart from anybody else, but that's mainly because Eddie Van Halen and his guitar skills. It just their guitar has a unique sound, and that immediately
I
lets me know.
can tell a John Mayer guitar. I can hear it and know this is a John Mayer song coming. I'm a huge fan of his, and a lot of people don't know John Mayer from Jason Mraz or from like Dave Matthews. And to me, to think John Mayer and Dave Matthews do entirely different kinds of music, but to other people, they don't. It's all the same. I respect it because they're not into it. Am I wrong? Do those songs? Do they all sound? They all sound like they belong at a tent with some beer outside in the summer.
You're not way off there.
Yeah,
they're definitely the same genre, and they're even in the same tent. But what you're describing about, basically late 70s, but mostly early 80s and mid 80s rock, the hair metal stuff, I actually agree with your criticisms of it. I don't like that stuff very much. I know that I am saying the wrong things on the radio right now for the audience listening. But I'm not a hair metal guy. And so when you kind of criticize that genre, I'm with you.
Hair bands that's what my husband, then boyfriend, used to listen to in the Jeep that he drove.
Okay.
That's what you're supposed to listen to.
Which was a beater Jeep, and it had a Keishi.
I tried to listen to something else.
Pig on the back of it. I used to work with Keishi. Yeah, Sweet Meat.
Yeah.
I respect it. Again, I worked with Keishi for about 10 years of my life as a sister station in 97.1 before we got sold and split up. So I love those people. I know many of those people. I would sit in meetings, and Keishi was always the biggest thing that was talked about. And I was like, please don't call me. Please don't call me. Please. Okay. Let's talk about, Chris Christie at the debate and how this is, like, I can go there. But please don't ask me about AC and DC.
I mean, fun fact, in St. Louis from 1996 through 2008, no Jeep sold in St. Louis could have anything but Keishi.
Yeah, I need to find a picture of the back of his old Jeep, because he was one of those, and I think somewhere inside still is. He had long hair too when I started dating him. The YouTube live chat poll today: do you support the loyalty pledge requirement to debate? Yes or no? Katie says. Let's see here. She had a different one up here. Let's do Carlos. I voted no. It is too early in this stage of the game to require anything of that sort. Scott says, I have no choice but to support the loyalty pledge. If we were divided as a party come next November, we will get our butts handed to us by a Democrat party that always finds way to unify and win. So you guys said real quick, do you support the loyalty pledge? Yes or no, Brad?
I was a no.
And I'm a yes.
And I am a very casual no. The people said on today's Monday YouTube live chat poll, do you support the GOP loyalty pledge requirement to debate? Yes, 33%, no, 67%. It's a pretty definitive win.
Well, those people just don't understand democracy and shouldn't be allowed to vote then.
Just spit all over the place.
Anytime a result is contrary to my opinion, I assume that it's bad for democracy, and therefore they are banned.
Dirk says, I think it's unnecessary. It should be a given. That's kind of an interesting position. Christopher says the loyalty pledge takes all responsibility for the party to earn my vote. They want it by default for not being Joe Biden. Low bar, do more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there with you. Katie says, no, I don't support the loyalty pledge, although I do worry about Trump not signing it, leaving the red team and running as an independent. Then the Democrats will likely win the general. Well, Wednesday is the debate. You have until the end of today to be a part of our GOP debate watch party, and we're going to be here on 97.1, your destination, to listen to the debate as well. We've got it all covered here on 97.1 FM Talk, and we are so grateful that you are a part of it. Stick around. The Mark Reardon Show up next.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication